The United States under Donald Trump withdrew from that. Abe continued to do it, and in part because of that, it exists now as an economic alliance and alternative in a way to the Chinese influence. And so I think he'll be remembered for that. But he also was a relentless advocate of a kind of resurgent Japanese nationalism that was very controversial. The relations were strained with South Korea as a result of that at times. And I think he will be seen as a key post-war political figure in Japan, not only because of his longevity, but I should point out, he is from almost the dominating family of Japanese politics. He is a grandson of a prime minister. His father was foreign minister. His brother is currently the defense minister. I mean, this is, the equivalent of almost the Kennedys in the sense of the domination of Japanese politics. So it's a really resonant event for Japan and the whole region.
Former Prime Minister Shinzo Abe tragically assassinated at 67 years old. Susan Motoko, thank you so much for your time this morning.
Thanks for having us.
Of course. Coming up, a new jobs report suggesting the jobs market is booming. But could this make the fight against inflation even tougher as prices keep rising? We're going to talk directly to President Biden's top economic advisor after a quick break.
Like any family, the Auburns all have individual priorities. Some like strategic diversification. Some like a little comfort to balance out the risk. Others want immediate gratification and long-term gratification too. They have their own interests, but at the end of the day, there's nothing like being a gold owner. Visit invest.gold to see why gold is everyone's asset.
We're a different kind of dentistry, one who believes in doing anything it takes to make dentistry work for your life. So we offer a complete exam and x-rays free to new patients without insurance every day. Plus, patients get 20% off their treatment plan. We're on your corner and in your corner every step of the way. Because your anything is our everything. Aspen Dental, anything to make you smile. Book today at aspendental.com. Walk in or call 1-800-ASPEN-DENTAL.
Fact, we all love video doorbells. Voice assistants have changed our lives. We now control our home with a touch. And you know what's better than all these things by themselves? All these things together from the most trusted name in security, ADT.
Hi, it's me again. Listen to this. Medicare Part C plans with extra benefits like getting money added back to your Social Security check every month may now be available to you in your zip code. Make sure you're not missing out. It's simple. 1, call the number on your screen. 2, they'll look up your zip code and see if you're eligible. 3, they'll check for plans with extra benefits like prescriptions, dental coverage, and the benefit that adds money back to your Social Security check every single month. Call now.
I called to get everything I deserve.
I called to check my zip code for a plan with the benefit that adds money back to my Social Security check.
I called to check my zip code.
Check your zip code. It could be dynamite. Call now.
Call 1-800-418-6230. That's 1-800-418-6230 now.
It's time to get outdoorsy.
It's hot.
And Wayfair's got just what you need.
We need a rug.
That's the one, yeah.
Save on all your outdoorsy furniture and decor at Wayfair.
You have an alarming number of puppets.
I sell them online.
Let's make this puppet biz legit. You are good. LegalZoom. Now you're in business.
Lemons. Lemons, lemons, lemons. Look how nice they are. The moment you become an Expedia member, you can instantly start saving on your travels. So you can go and see all those lovely, lemony lemons. And never wonder if you got a good deal. Because you did. When you have technology that's easier to control, that can
can scale across all your clouds.
We got that, right?
We got that.
It's easier to be an innovator, so you can do more incredible things.
Discover intuitive technology at the Lexus Golden Opportunity sales event.
Closed captioning brought to you by Flex Seal family of products.
Hi, Phil Swift here. Get the Flex Seal family of products. Flex Seal Liquid, Flex Shot, Flex Tape, Flex Glue, and Flex Paste.
So, a new jobs report is out this morning, and it looks good. It shows the U.S. economy added 372,000 jobs in June. That's about 100,000 more jobs than analysts predicted, and it means the unemployment rate remains at a low 3.6%. That is good news on just about any other day, because it might make it harder for the Federal Reserve to fight the inflation that's still squeezing Americans' budgets. Joining us now live from the White House is Cecilia Rouse. She's chair of the President's Council of Economic Advisors. Cecilia, good morning. We're grateful that you're with us. The jobs report coming in above expectations. Good news for the labor market. President Biden, I want to read to our viewers part of his statement. He says, quote, "We have more Americans working in the private sector today than any day during Donald Trump's presidency, more people than any time in our history. But if we look at the numbers, there are almost 2 jobs available for every applicant, and that puts pressure on wages to go up. So can we have the kind of jobs market that we have right now without it inevitably leading to inflation?"
So the jobs report today reflects the fact that we have had a historic recovery from the pandemic recession, and that there are employment opportunities across our economy, and it's across almost every industry. We saw job gains in the private sector of actually 381,000. And that puts that employment above where we were in February 2020. There was some losses in government sector, primarily in the federal government. So what this report reflects is that we have a labor market that remains very strong. We saw wage growth of about 0.3% month over month. That is strong, but it is actually a bit of a deceleration from the month prior. So we actually do not see signs in this report that wages will be causing additional overheating. If we look at the annualized rates, we see over the last 3 months, wages have cooled just a little bit. At the same time, we know that we're seeing gains among our lowest paid sectors, such as leisure and hospitality, transportation and warehouse, that are robust, because those are areas where they're still struggling to find workers, as you pointed out. So this is a strong report. It reflects there's still some work to be done in certain sectors, but overall it means that the U.S. economy, at least on the labor side, has got the kind of headroom that Jerome Powell and his colleagues will need as they try to engineer a soft landing on inflation.
Isn't that an issue, though? If Americans are making more money, even if the rate is decelerating, it's still increasing. And at the same time, everything costs more, so they can afford less. This doesn't concern you about inflation, seeing that there are more jobs on the jobs report than expected?
So what this reflects is that we have a very healthy labor market. Obviously, inflation is a challenge, and the president understands. I understand what that means to to households, to Americans, as they face increasing prices for food, for gas, for everyday items. The good news is we have seen gas prices coming down over the last couple of weeks, which provides some relief. Prices for gas are set on the global market. We know that Russia continues its war against Ukraine, but that, at least for the moment, is a welcome sign and is going to be welcome for many people. And importantly, energy costs feed into not only energy, but also into other goods. So that should provide a little inflationary easing as well. We'll get new data next week when the CPI is released. But we understand that's why the president is proposing lowering costs for prescription drugs and other important goods for for households. It's why he is focused on reducing the deficit. He's on track to have some of the highest deficit reduction, in recent history. And it's why he proposes increasing taxes on the very wealthiest and on corporations. To not only is that fair, but it takes off some fiscal pressure, and it allows us to be making the kinds of investments we know we need to be making to build our economic capacity, whether that's in physical infrastructure, whether that's in human capital, getting people back to work, helping people deal with these increasing costs.
Cecilia, you mentioned a moment ago the Fed attempting to engineer a soft landing and avoiding a recession. Does this report put more pressure on the Fed to again raise interest rates at a historic level?
So the Fed is an independent agency, and I really do not want to speak to what they will or will not do. They need to have the space to read the data and make the professional judgment that they will be making. What this suggests, many people were asking, are we in recession? What this suggests is, at least on the employment side in the labor market, we still have a very healthy economy. And the president understands that in order to bring down inflation, the Fed's needs to cool the economy to some extent. But what we're hoping, and what the Fed is hoping for, is that we transition to the kind of economy where we see steady, sustainable growth, where we do have growth, but that is growth that's generated from productivity increases and from the increasing economic capacity, because we're making the kinds of investments in physical infrastructure that the bipartisan infrastructure law entails. Because we are able to make the kinds of investments we know we need to be making as we transition to clean energy, because we're making the investments in families to help people get back to work. So when we make those kinds of investments, we increase our economic capacity, and that's the kind of growth the president is hoping that we can transition to.
Cecilia Rouse, we have to leave the conversation there. We appreciate your time as always, and just want to let our viewers know the president is expected to speak from the White House in just a few moments, signing an executive order expanding abortion access. Cecilia, thank you again.
You're welcome.
Of course. Also coming up, a major moment on Capitol Hill. Pat Cipollone, the former White House counsel, sitting down for closed-door testimony with the January 6th committee, what President Trump's former attorney could reveal.
My name is Pat.
That's next.
She's feeling the power of Listerine. He's feeling it. Yep, them too. It's an invigorating rush, zapping millions of germs in seconds. For that one-of-a-kind whoa, which leaves you feeling Listerine. Feel the whoa.
And Doug.
All right, Limo, give me a socket wrench, some pliers, and a phone open at libertymutual.com. They customize your car insurance so you only pay for what you need. And you can even save $652 when you switch. Okay, I need a crowbar and a blowtorch. Limo, call a mechanic. Only pay for what you need.
Liberty, 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 liberty.
I see trees of green, red roses too. I see them bloom for me and you, and I think to myself, what a wonderful world.
Help keep elephants in our world. Visit WWFHeals.org. Call or scan now and symbolically adopt an elephant for just $12 a month. Your support will help WWF protect elephants and other threatened wildlife and their habitats. Go online or call in the next 5 minutes and we'll send you an adoption kit with this adorable plush elephant. Don't let them disappear forever. Act now to help keep elephants and other precious wildlife in our world. Go online, call, or scan now.
Sorry, Mom. It's amazing what you can build on AWS. Imagine creating cool stuff that can make ordering tacos a breeze and let you watch every shot from every player anywhere you want. Learn about investing in the coolest companies and watch your favorite team from the other side of the world. Just imagine what they can do when I'm in charge. Whoa.
Hi, folks.
Medicare Part C plans with extra benefits like getting money added back to your Social Security check may now be available to you in your zip code. Make sure you're not missing out. It's simple. 1, call the number on your screen. 2, they'll look up your zip code and see if you're eligible. 3, they'll check for plans with extra benefits like prescriptions, dental coverage, and the benefit that adds money back to your Social Security check every single month. Call now.
I called to get everything I deserve.
I called to check my zip code for a plan with a benefit that adds money back to my Social Security check.
I called to check my zip code.
Millions of people have called the Medicare Coverage Helpline. Call, check your zip code, see if you're eligible, and get what you deserve. Call now.
Call 1-800-539-0900. That's 1-800-539-0900 now.
Why is Roger happy? It's the little things Carvana does, like giving him a real offer in 2 minutes. And Carvana's customer advocate, Caitlin, picking up his car at promptly 10 a.m., then paying him right there on the spot. We'll drive you happy at Carvana.
This is Patagonia. People and animals, once adversaries, now allies, fight for survival. Patagonia, life on the edge of the world. Premieres Sunday at 9 on CNN.
I'm calling in regards about my mother, and I'm here, and I just want to thank you because it saved my mother's life yesterday. And I'd like to know the names of the people that came in and saved her so I could call and thank them. And she's doing fine. It's a wonderful thing. Thank you.
When you fall and cannot get up, an accident can turn into a tragedy. But with Life Alert, one touch of a button can get you help fast.
Life Alert saves a life every 11 minutes. And batteries never need charging.
Life Alert is a lifesaver. If it weren't for Life Alert, I wouldn't be sitting here today.
For a free Life Alert brochure, call 1-800-808-1929. That's 1-800-808-1929. Call now. 1-800-808-1929.
United Shades of America with W. Kamau Bell. Premieres Sunday at 10 on CNN.
Happening right now behind closed doors on Capitol Hill, the committee investigating the effort to overturn the 2020 election is speaking with a key witness, the former White House counsel for President Trump, Pat Cipollone, a figure that could give critical insight into what Trump was thinking and planning after he lost the election. Note this, his appearance comes just 4 days before the committee's next public hearing on Tuesday. Let's go to Capitol Hill now and CNN's Melanie Zanona, who's there. And Melanie, today's deposition comes after months of negotiating with Cipollone.
Right. Pat Cipollone is a big get for the Select Committee, and it's easy to see why. He was a key fact witness and had a front row seat to a number of pivotal episodes, both leading up to January 6th and also on January 6th. In fact, sources tell CNN that Pat Cipollone was in and out of the dining room with Donald Trump on January 6th during those critical 187 minutes where Trump refused to act, even as he watched on television as the rioters stormed the Capitol building. And so that critical time period of inaction is expected to be a large focus of one of the upcoming hearings. And Pat Cipollone could really help the committee fill in the gaps, especially since there are long gaps in the White House records from that day. Now, we've also heard from other witnesses who have testified that Pat Cipollone was expressing concerns about Trump's behavior and the potential legal concerns there on January 6th. And witnesses have also said that Pat Cipollone threatened to quit over Trump's plan to overturn the election, calling it a, quote, murder-suicide pact. And so the committee is expected to ask him to corroborate all of that. Now, there are concerns about executive privilege. It's unclear how the committee is going to navigate that, but we could find out soon because this interview is going to be videotaped, and it is likely that we could see clips of this deposition pop up in future hearings for us.
Melanie Zanona on Capitol Hill, thanks so much. Let's dig deeper on Cipollone's testimony with CNN legal analyst and former federal prosecutor Jennifer Rogers. Jennifer, good morning. If you were in that committee room today, what would you ask Pat Cipollone?
Well, Boris, I, like the reporter just said, would like to corroborate all of what we've heard Pat Cipollone was in the middle of, certainly Cassidy Hutchinson's blockbuster testimony from a week or so ago. But I'd also want to dig deeper into what he knew and what his views were of all of the pieces of the plot that we've been hearing about during the course of the hearings, the fake elector scheme, even the 60 plus cases that they filed in court. What were his views of these strategies? Because what we've been hearing is that he was not in favor and he thought that they were frivolous and at some point criminal. So I would want to get into all of that as much as you can get into effectively without getting into executive privilege areas in terms of conversations between him and former President Trump directly.
Well, I want to ask you about executive privilege, but first I want to play some sound for you and our viewers from committee member Zoe Lofgren. Here's what she said about that.
We recognize that there could be some communication between him and the president that is legitimately privileged, and we're willing to work through those. But clearly, if you look at Ms. Hutchinson's testimony yesterday, there are quite a few things that he could tell the committee that would not be subject to privilege. And I think it's important.
Quite a few things he could tell the committee. What do you think those things are?
Well, executive privilege is going to cover communications between Cipollone and the former president. It really only covers those episodes, the advice that Pat Cipollone is giving to the president. So it's not going to include when Pat Cipollone is talking to Hutchinson or Meadows or other people. And it's not going to include his views on things. There's no work product privilege in connection with executive privilege. So I do think there are a lot of areas they can go into. I think Cipollone will not provide word for word recitations of his conversations with Trump, but that leaves a lot of area where he can expound upon who said what to whom, aside from the president, and of course his views on all of this.
And in terms of the optics of this, how much does it matter that his testimony is going to be pre-recorded behind closed doors instead of live in person?
Or project. Find them online or in the Chesterfield Valley, chesterfieldfence.com.
Driven by the Bomarito Automotive Group, the voice of St. Louis, KMOX.
Men, if you suffer from erectile dysfunction or PE, you can call other clinics and hope for the best. Or you can experience the Paramount Men's Medical Center difference. Their licensed physicians offer treatments that have a 98% success rate, regardless of age or medical history. Listen to a specialist in men's health.
I'm Dr. Schwartz. If you're not the man you used to be in the bedroom, Paramount Men's Medical Center offers custom blended medications with personalized care. Even men who have diabetes, high blood pressure, or prostate issues are lasting 30, 60, 90 minutes or longer. And it's affordable.
Men, if Viagra, Cialis, or Levitra have let you down, schedule a private consultation to experience the Paramount Men's Medical Center difference. See results on your first visit guaranteed, or your consultation is free. Call 314-720-8081. 314-720-8081. That's 314-720-8081.
Do your homework. Check us out on the Better Business Bureau and Angie's List. Hi, I'm Chuck Easter with Easter Fence Deck and Renovations. We can stand the scrutiny and encourage it. Don't just look at the ratings, but read the reviews. You'll find that we are who we say we are, a company that is focused on doing what's right every time. We never cheat, and we never cut corners. With Easter, your fence, deck, sunroom, or awning project will be completed with unmatched craftsmanship and at a fair price. Call 314-892-8500 or easterfence.com.
Find out what's happening with your Redbirds from the manager himself, Oliver Marmol. Sundays at 10:15 on Sports Open Line and Wednesday mornings at 9:50. The Ollie Marmol Show.
I'm excited for not only the club but for the fans. This is a special year for sure.
On KMOX.
Back in on the show, Chris Ranji, Amy Marks, Coors, Kevin Wheeler with you here on a Friday. All right, so I put this down last night on the rundown. I didn't tell you guys what exactly I was going to rant about here, but I'm gonna do it. It's gonna be relatively short because I don't think it's a complex message, but it's something that's irritating the living hell out of me, and it's only gonna get worse between now and November.
So you've been stewing on this for a while.
Not really a while. There were just some. So I'm talking about the political ads that we hear now that we will be hearing for the next 4 months. I mean, it's going to be, and it's going to increase in frequency. And I don't mind that they exist, but there's something about them universally, not just ads, but also like campaign promises and things that people say they're going to do. Stop telling me what you want to do. Tell me how you're going to do it.
Wait a
Because
minute.
any of us can say, I want to start reaching across the aisle and making deals with the side. Yeah. How are you going to do that when nobody wants to talk to you?
Honest to goodness, I got a campaign email from some guy. I don't know. It wasn't Missouri. It was like we get random emails from states all over that promised to, and this is a House of Representatives, guy in the House of Representatives, to bring down inflation and bring God back to America.
This is what I'm talking about, because I hear these all the time. I'm hearing them now for the Senate races here. We're going to hear it all the way through. I'm going to fight back against this policy. You're not doing anything yourself. You're not doing anything. You can say that you want to. You can say that these are my priorities. I want to know how, though. Like, if you're going to fight back against something, how? What are the steps you're taking? If you want to get rid of something you don't like, all right, great. What are you going to replace it with? If you want to, let's say, increase tax cuts, good. What programs are going to be cut to pay for the tax cut? And I go to all of these campaign websites. Can you tell I had a little time last night while I was stewing about this? I went to all of these websites.
So you were stewing.
And all I see is what I want to do. Well, great. I want to make $1 billion next year. How am I going to do it?
Not with this job.
I want a plan. Right? Like, if you're running for office, give me, at least on your website, a plan. And then on your ads, say, listen, here's what I want to do. I don't have enough time to tell you how. Go to my website. We'll tell you how.
That is absolutely fair, because campaign ads inherently can't do what you want them to do.
Right.
Because you can't do it in 30 seconds.
But
you can't tell somebody in 30 seconds how you're going to do these things.
You could do this in a stump speech. You could do this at a speaking engagement. Yeah. You could do this in a radio interview that they all like, oh, I don't want to do that because I might get asked questions I don't have snappy answers to. Listen, focus on the how. And I'm saying this, the reason I want to rant about this is what we as voters should be demanding. Don't tell me what. What is easy? What is easy? Anybody can say what they want to do. Tell me how you're going to accomplish it. That's what matters. Because if you don't have an answer to that, you ain't getting it done. You can't act like, well, I'm so motivated and energetic about this that energy is going to make it happen. It's not. Tell me how you're going to do it.
And I will say that even saying what you're going to do and what you stand for is an improvement on a lot of ads, which just tell you how much you hate the other guy. The other guy has a radical agenda. The other guy is ruining America. The other guy is the end of democracy. And there are a lot of ads that stop there, where you, honest to goodness, could not tell what the person, like the actual person with the campaign ad, what they stand for.
And so you know whose fault that is?
Well, it's ours.
It's our fault because it works. It works on us. And that's why they continue to do it. That's why negative ads have been a thing all these years. And they will continue until it stops working. But the electorate is just not, I mean, let's be honest. The electorate's
we're
lazy. And I would say, I don't want to say dumb, because I don't think people are stupid, but I think people don't seek out enough information about these candidates. They will hear these ads or watch these ads and go, oh my God, that guy's a rhino. I can't vote for him, without even really defining what that means. What the hell is a rhino? Like, I know what the acronym is, but what does it mean in terms of
whatever
policy?
You want it to mean. And it's the same thing when somebody like, you're not liberal enough. Well, okay, what does that even mean? You know, because there's a million issues, and so we disagree on 3. So now I'm not this or I'm not that, and it's the same thing. It doesn't matter to me, really. This is a bipartisan bitch on my part. I hate this so much.
Until we all collectively say, okay, that's not good enough anymore.
Yeah,
it's not good enough to give us this crap. Give us some real substance here. But the reality is, millions of people don't vote on substance. They just don't.
Well, and I think there's a lot of smoke and mirrors. There are a lot of slogans, and people mistake slogans for policy, and slogans aren't policy. Now, I brought this up yesterday. when we were talking about Marjorie Taylor Greene's comments about it being a conspiracy with the shootings, it just a really offensive comments, and how I would love for leadership in the GOP like a Kevin McCarthy to call her out. And I do think in general, when someone says something super wacky or unpopular, the Democrats in Congress tend to address that and stand up to that better than the Republicans in Congress do. One of the
and to their
examples,
detriment, I think a lot.
Well-
I mean, to their, when I say detriment, I mean to them holding on to office, holding on to seats.
well, maybe, yeah. I mean, obviously, Liz Cheney is probably going to be primaried, so to her detriment, she's stood up to the GOP.
Right.
But one of the slogans that's not policy, and it's not popular, and it's not popular among the communities whom it would affect the most, would be the defund the police. Cori Bush has spoken a lot about defunding the police and defunding the Pentagon. And that is hugely unpopular, obviously not just among Republicans, but among Democrats as well. Thomas App brought up that people who live in areas of high violent crime, they feel over-policed but underprotected. They overwhelmingly, people do want the police. And I think the Democratic Party realized that that slogan was gaining traction, getting out of hand, was not received favorably by the electorate. And so the president, Joe Biden, said, we're not going to defund the police. He said, this is not who we are. This is not what we stand for. There was a contingent, and our own Cori Bush is part of that, who wants to do that. But overall, the President Biden and other Democrats have said, no, that's not the goal
Right.
here.
That isn't.
And he
it
stood
isn't-
up to it.
Yeah, and,
But
and
that's not a policy. Like, defund the police is not a practical policy.
no, I think it's bad messaging too. You can make an argument that maybe we could redirect some of the resources in some places, and not every town, every state is the same. So you can't have the same policy for every region of the country, but you can make the argument that maybe some of those funds should be redirected to more social services. And that, again, is a case-by-case thing. But the overall message of defund the police
dumb.
is stupid.
Yeah.
It doesn't, it's not going to sway people.
Well,
I mean, it's also not a good idea.
No, it's a
when you
terrible
say
idea.
it that way. This is, again, what does that even mean?
Well, I think the argument is, and I don't know if this will ever be possible to do, that if we did concentrate more on more of the social services, there would be less crime and therefore less need for policing.
Right, but one's gotta come before the other.
That is a massive
Right, you got to fix
overhaul.
the problem before
Right.
you can say we take
Because
away
crime,
the people that
as we
protect
talk
everybody.
about, crime almost always, unless it's a crime of passion, it almost always is rooted in poverty. So if there's no poverty, there's probably a whole lot less crime. Like, the only crimes you would see in those cases, most likely, is domestic stuff.
Yeah.
Well, and I mean, yes, I mean, obviously there's you see high crime in impoverished areas. However, violent crime is a linchpin to keep poor areas downtrodden, to keep them poor. If you have violent crime, you can try anti-poverty measures and they can help. But we've talked about this a lot. Like, we want kids to stay in school, and education can be an avenue out of that area. However, if their friends are getting gunned down and they're just trying to survive tomorrow.
No, it's both.
they're
So
not
it's got to
gonna
be
do
all
this.
things. It's got to be both things at once.
And then last, I will just say this again, how defund the police was not policy. It was not popular. And I think, to the Democrats' credit, they turned from it. The Gallup Center for Black Voices in America showed that 81% of Black Americans want the same amount or increased police presence. And this was the Gallup Center for Black Voices in America. And I think, again, you can't have a slogan that's unpopular, that doesn't make sense, that's not a policy.
But again, as you said, they want the police to protect them, not
Yes.
just police them.
Right.
And in closing, if you're running for office,
tell us how.
Tell us how, not what. How, please.
Are you tired of exposing your retirement to stock market risk? How would you like the potential to participate in credited interest from market index returns and limit downside? Join me, Ben Coons, for the Retirement and Income Radio Show, heard here every Saturday at 3 p.m. on KMOX Radio. You can also call me now for your complimentary retirement and income book at 844-513-SAFE. That's 844-513-7233.
At 420ID.com, we make it easy to get your Missouri medical marijuana card. Dispensaries are open and inventory is in, so why wait? 420ID is the only company that provides you with a real plastic ID card and have served over 19,000 happy Missouri patients. Open late every day until 9 p.m. If we can't approve you, you pay nothing at 420ID.com. Today is the day to sign up for your Missouri medical marijuana card at 420ID.com. Use promo code RADIO and save $30 today. That's 420ID.com.
Join Yadier Molina and your favorite Cardinals players at the Flavors of Puerto Rico charity dinner on Monday, August 15th at the Chase Park Plaza. You can enjoy rum-based cocktails and dinner prepared by one of Puerto Rico's celebrity chefs. The event benefits Foundation for Yadi's Foundation, which raises funds for underprivileged kids in St. Louis and Puerto Rico. For tickets or to sponsor, visit YadierMolina4.com or send an email to info@YadierMolina4.com for more information. You can also check the events page at KMOX.com/events.
In this market, you'll find Fisher Investments is different than other money managers.
Different how? Aren't we all just looking for the hottest stocks?
Nope. We use diversified strategies to position our clients' portfolios for their long-term goals.
You don't just provide cookie-cutter portfolios?
No. We tailor our clients' portfolios to their goals and needs.
But you still sell investments that generate high commissions for you, right?
No, we don't sell commission-based products. We're a fiduciary, the highest standard of care for a financial advisor. It means we're obligated to act in our clients' best interest.
So when do you make more money? Only when your clients make more money?
Yep, we have one transparent management fee structured so we do better when our clients do better.
Sounds like you really look out for your clients.
We do, because our priority is helping them achieve a comfortable retirement. That might be why most of our clients come from other money managers. Visit FisherInvestments.com to find out why investors like you switch to us. Fisher Investments. Clearly different money management.
Investments in securities involve the risk of loss.
When choosing a skilled nursing memory care community, choose Park Provence. Considered by U.S. News and World Reports as a best memory care community for nearly 20 years, they've been the experts at treating dementia and Alzheimer's disease. If you're faced with making a difficult decision for your loved one, talk to the leaders at memory care at Park Provence. Learn more by calling 314-542-5200 or visit parkprovence.com. That's PARC Provence.com. Did you know that one of the health benefits of swimming lessons is burning more calories than jogging while providing ease on your joints? SwimOnFoundation.org.
The show, sponsored by Straight Realty, your St. Louis area experts. Why pay more than 314-441-4444. Amy Marks Course.
This is my show, my microphone.
On the show.
What is it? What's happened?
What's going on? What do you know?
What just happened?
What happened?
I need to know.
Trending now on the show.
All right, Trending is sponsored by Old Town Donuts in Florissant and Connellville. A couple of quick things trending in local sports. We'll talk more Cardinals later on. We'll do our Redbird Report at 12:30. Mike Claiborne will join us at 1 o'clock. But just a quick hitter here. It's official now. It was reported yesterday, but official now. Albert Pujols has been named to the National League All-Star team alongside Miguel Cabrera. So Cabrera in the American League, Albert in the National League as honorary nominees, commissioner's choices, if you will. And then one other quick thing that was trending, at least locally, and that is Billy Huso has been traded to the Detroit Red Wings for a third-round pick, the 73rd pick in the draft, which will be coming up tonight. And then he signed a 3-year deal for $4.75 million. You weren't going to be able to do that here. You weren't going to be able to give him almost $5 million when you're already paying Jordan Binnington $6 million. So you got a third-round pick out of it. You got something. And I'd say that's about as good as you were going to do with a guy that was literally, a week and a half away from just true free agency. He just traded his rights, the negotiating rights to Detroit, who obviously knew they were going to get a deal with him. So that's the deal.
And Vladimir Tarasenko still here.
Still here. Nothing
Still here.
happened there. Doesn't mean it's going to stay that way, but for now, still here.
You have a trending, Raj?
I mean, yes. Do you want me to go
Yes,
or do
I
you want to?
do.
Guess what, boys and girls?
What?
The most popular beer in the world.
The world?
Yeah?
I'm saying it's the most popular beer.
I thought it was the
Busch
country.
Light. Anybody love a good Busch Latte?
So my Okay, is that a thing to call it Busch Latte?
Well, they put it on the can sometimes.
Oh, because my friend Noah loves Busch Light.
I love Busch
She was
Light.
drinking Busch Light before it was cool to drink Busch Light. And
I was drinking Busch Light before it was cool.
well, she.
But then
probably
again,
had
it's
more
always
than
been
you
cool,
have, yeah.
really.
But she put Busch Latte on, like we were talking about Busch Light, and she's like, finally, people are wising up to Busch Latte, and I thought it was a autocorrect error.
No. Oh, no. Busch Light sales from mid-May to mid-June, people have bought more than 6 million cases of it. That's up 4%
Mhm.
over last year. Part of it is it's a little bit less expensive, but it's a delicious beverage. My God, who doesn't love a good Bud Light or Busch Light? Both of them are great, actually, but Busch Light that's the best.
I don't think I've ever had Busch Light. I've had Bud Light, and I've had super gross Stag beer and PBR. Stag is gross.
PBR is something else.
I don't like PBR.
That is an interesting thing.
I don't drink
And
beer,
old
so-
style.
Yeah.
Yeah, Kevin doesn't drink beer.
Yeah. I have no thoughts.
You know what you should do? Get a Busch Light.
All right.
Yeah, we
Your
should get Busch
first
Light.
beer should be a Busch
It's
Light.
like water.
I mean, I've had beer. It's like I've never had
oh,
beer.
I like beer.
I just don't drink it.
I remember my first beer. We
My
can
first
actually
beer-
say that to
I-
Kevin.
my first beer was I took a drink. I'm like, this sucks. I'm just going to hold it and pretend like I'm drinking it.
So with it's funny because I was not a big drinker. I don't think I ordered a drink until I was 28, and I went straight to whiskey. So I always say I don't drink, but when I drink whiskey, and it was bourbon. And I remember the first bourbon I had, I thought, wow, this tastes like gasoline. And then I took another sip, and I'm like, but it's kind of good gasoline. And then
I mean, the only thing I really drink is
Yeah.
tequila, so I guess I can identify.
Yeah. So I went straight to bourbon. But beer, I do enjoy beer, and I do like the craft beers. Like I like having the different craft beers.
See,
but not sours. I can't do sours.
I do too. I like the craft beers, but it really depends.
Mhm.
I mean, I love Urban Underdog. I think is great. Really, all of our breweries here, like the micro brews, Four Hands,
Urban Chestnut.
really good too. Yeah.
You know, do you have a trending, Amy? If
Yeah.
you don't, I have another one
I
that's
do.
weird.
So the Austrian Grand Prix is trending, and this is something that I do love IndyCar racing, but I've kind of gotten into F1 and like recognizing the drivers' names, which is like a big deal for me because I never paid attention to F1, but the whole Drive to Survive and how it's so big now, and F1 was basically non-existent in the United States until, and I say non-existent, a little bit tongue-in-cheek, but
Under
it's
the
not,
radar.
It's not what it was, or is in Europe. But with Drive to Survive, it's become hugely popular.
I don't even know what that is.
Oh, it's the whole like F1 docu-series following the
okay.
drivers.
I didn't know that was a thing.
Oh yeah, it's
Is
a
it
big
good?
thing. Yeah, Michael Kelly's obsessed with it.
Okay. I like those kind of things.
I
so
like the
check it
open
out.
wheel cars. They're kind of cool.
Yeah.
You
I mean, the
drink your
cars are
Busch
cool.
Light at F1. They
Well, are
probably
you
don't
allowed?
even
Are you allowed
sell-
to drink Busch Light at an F1
Probably
event?
not.
You have to.
Why
Think
not?
not.
We got to drink
not?
wine
It's
at those.
pretty
I think.
fancy.
Wine.
Yeah, like but F1 is look the NASCAR. That's the salt of the earth, people.
Yeah.
You know, watching
F1 is
NASCAR.
like-
that's where you get a Busch
F1
Light.
is F1 the snoots. The
Yeah,
snooty-
you have
Oh,
wine
they're like
and
born in Monaco, like
Yeah.
this driver here.
Oh, it's those people.
yeah, I would have a
the
Chardonnay.
third.
That's where Tony Stark would go.
Yes.
In fact, he
Okay,
did
all
in
right.
one of the
Yeah,
movies.
you're right. And
Yeah.
that was the worst of the movies.
Yeah, you're right.
That was what's his name playing the Russian guy,
Mickey
Rourke, with the terrible Russian accent. All I can remember from that movie is him trying to say the word bird. Right? It's like bird. It was all about his bird.
I don't know, Kevin.
I don't
Maybe.
know.
It is. Well, don't go back and watch it because it's terrible, but just trust me, it is.
Yeah.
You know what it is today? You know what today is? What's trending?
What?
Hashtag Fursuit Friday.
Oh,
What?
I did see that. See, I
Furries.
opted not to cover that one.
Furries are celebrating Fursuit Friday.
Mhm.
What is a furry?
You don't know what a furry is?
A
No.
furry is an adult who dresses up in outfits like little animals, and then
Fur,
they
like a
have
fursuit. Like,
intimate relations.
What?
I don't think it's always that.
I
But,
think
but
it is.
I mean, I think it is that, but I don't think it's always that. Like they walk around like in like big fur costumes. So some of them are dogs, some of them are
They wear tails.
bunnies. Some of them are like coyotes and wolves and stuff.
And then you go to the bedroom?
Yeah.
Apparently they.
I think that's the goal.
I don't think it's I don't think that's the only thing that happens, but I do think that's a thing that happens.
That doesn't sound fun. Those don't open in the front.
How do you know? I guarantee.
How many?
Hey, listen, I guarantee that
I had a rabbit costume.
Yeah, just
years
picturing him
ago.
as the kid from Christmas Story.
I had one.
Coming down the stairs. He's even got the glasses.
I
Oh,
think
no,
if you
I-
wear that, you won't have to worry
Ralphie!
about opening it in the
I
front.
was an adult. I had a rabbit costume as an adult that I think I was a rabbit for Halloween.
Okay.
Once or twice. I think I used it a couple times. But those things don't.
I mean, these are pretty custom.
They're
though.
not.
I think-
That's
I think-
not.
I don't think they're not wearing your rabbit costume.
No,
from
they have
A
their
Christmas
own,
Story.
like custom made. Like I'm sure they've figured out the logistics.
Yeah, and I
Oh.
don't think it's always like a full outfit, isn't it? Sometimes just
I don't know.
a
I mean,
tail.
the pictures that are showing is all these people in full on outfits.
Did you know? I thought it was here, but maybe it's not. There was a furries convention and an NRA convention in the same convention center.
Oh, no.
And so they were buying hot dogs together, but it looked kind of like, there's all the gun people and then
Like
all the
hunting.
furries. Yeah.
That's not good.
Well, I think it brought two worlds
And
together.
I also want to be clear. I'm not making fun of anybody. It's
Yes,
just
you
not,
are.
It's just not for me.
What?
How do you know?
Furries.
Well,
don't, don't knock it till
it
you try
hasn't
it.
been to this point.
But maybe it should be.
I am making fun of it, and it is totally for me.
We're not done at 5650.
Oh, I thought we were done.
We were done.
No,
You
I
were
told
wrapping
you
us up.
5750
No,
in the
you
last
didn't tell
break.
me that. If
Yes,
you
I
did,
did.
I didn't remember,
You were just
which
in your
is
own little
your
world.
Anyway, back to
All right,
Chris's
so we want to go
outfit
more
not
into
opening
furries?
in the front.
Yeah. So, by the way, if you like to go
Wait a
out,
minute. So, like,
if you like to go to the bar for Halloween, I would not recommend wearing a bunny costume or something like
any-
that, because then you have to take the whole thing off.
Okay, every woman who's ever
To
worn
go to the
like
bathroom.
the popular jumpsuits, like it's an ordeal.
I would.
It's an
Why would you ever
ordeal.
wear them?
Because they're super in right now, Kevin.
Are they?
And
I'm
I
more-
think
I'm
they
more
look
about
nice.
function than fashion. Like just make sure it works easily.
And make sure you're covered and the zipper's in the right place.
I mean, generally speaking, that's always a good idea.
And make sure it's zipped.
Oh,
Yeah, Ranji.
I have a problem with
Especially
that.
when you're teaching a class.
I have a problem with the zipper.
Tired of the cookie cutter feel of some new home communities? Discover the uniqueness of Lombardo Homes at Inverness. Inverness features variable setbacks throughout the neighborhood to create a park-like setting along the streets, as well as trails with pocket parks, loads of common ground, and 4 lakes. Inverness features custom homes ranging from 1,700 to over 2,500 square feet, priced from the high 300s. Tour our decorated display within Inverness, located on the north side of 5Z Road, west of Bryan Road. For more information, visit lombardohomes.com.
Call Zero Res today and ask for the DGS special. This month, Zero Res of STL is offering a 3-room special starting at just $119 and $75 off air duct cleaning. Visit ZeroResSTL.com or call 314-474-2020.
What makes for a great vacation? Depends on who you ask. Are you looking to get away or bring everyone together? Do you want to get outside and play or see a play at the plate? Fortunately, however you operate, I'm the destination you've been looking for. The name's Missouri, but you can call me Mo. And I have just one question. What's your MO? Come see me at visitmo.com.
KMOX, KECK HD2, K254CR, St. Louis.
This is KMOX, the trusted voice of St. Louis, an Odyssey station.
What does your smile say about you? Are you happy, confident, friendly? Getting and keeping that smile takes work. Proper brushing and flossing daily, and drinking fluoridated water. Fluoridated water has been in use for 75 years and is considered the most safe, equitable, and cost-effective way to prevent tooth decay. A healthy smile means a healthy person and a healthy community. For more information, visit health.mo.gov. A message from the Missouri Department of Health and Senior Services.
If you need solid hires fast, you need Indeed. The all-in-one hiring solution makes it easy to attract, interview, and hire candidates from the same place. Want to find your next great hire? Visit Indeed.com/credit.
Mid-America's most trusted source for news. KMOX.
At 11 o'clock, it's partly cloudy and 83 degrees downtown at the Arch. I'm Michael Calhoun. Our top story this hour is developing from western Missouri. Missouri Highway Patrol troopers are searching a hospital in Warrensburg after police reported a man inside with a gun. A large police presence is at Western Missouri Medical Center. No indication of any shots fired. AP correspondent Charles De Ledesma reports police at the shooting scene in Japan have arrested Tetsuya Yamagami, a 41-year-old former member of Japan's Navy, on suspicion of murder.
Police say Yamagami used a gun that was obviously handmade, about 15 inches long. They confiscated similar weapons and his personal computer when they raided his nearby one-room apartment. At a news conference, officers added Yamagami had responded calmly to questions and had admitted attacking former Prime Minister Shinzo Abe.
President Biden will deliver a new response to the recent Supreme Court ruling allowing states to outlaw abortion. Many Democrats have criticized the president for not acting more strongly after the justices overturned Roe versus Wade. Lori Levinson, a former federal prosecutor, weighs in.
There is not a whole lot that the President Biden can do. He cannot put Roe v. Wade back into the law, but he can take steps to protect reproductive health care and services and privacy throughout the nation.
Just days after the first black woman was sworn in at the U.S. Supreme Court, the same distinction is made on Illinois' High Court. Justice Lisa Holder White took the oath in Springfield, saying of her appointment,
"It is a testimony to the notion that as women and people of color, we need not limit our dreams or settle for less."
She replaces Justice Rita Garman, whose own term was historic as the longest-serving member of the Illinois Supreme Court. The Cardinals' Albert Pujols will be going to the All-Star Game in Los Angeles later this month. Pujols and Miguel Cabrera have been added to the roster as legendary nominees for their respective leagues. The game will be played July 19th. The First Mid-Bank and Trust Business Desk Job Market Update.
372,000 jobs added to the economy last month. That's over 100,000 more than forecast. And the unemployment rate held steady at 3.6%, staying near a 5-decade low. Now, that strong jobs news has Wall Streeters figuring that the Federal Reserve will have to keep raising interest rates to try to cool down the economy and drive inflation lower. Tom Busby, Bloomberg Radio.
The Dow from Stifel up 62 points to 31,446. And we've got some debris on 70 East at Union in the right lane. Also a stalled vehicle, 70 West at Cypress. That's on the right shoulder. And the weather.
Hot and humid this afternoon with times of clouds and sun, high 93. There could be a thunderstorm in spots late in the day or evening. Some clouds tonight, low 72. Some sunshine with lower humidity tomorrow, high 85. This is AccuWeather meteorologist Brian Thompson on the voice of St. Louis, KMOX.
It's partly cloudy and 82 in Florissant, 81 in St. Peters, 83 degrees. It feels like 90 downtown at the Arch. I'm Michael Calhoun, KMOX News.
The show, sponsored by Straight Realty, your St. Louis area experts. Why pay more than four? 314-441-4444.
Coming up on 11:04 on a Friday here on the show, Chris Ranji, Amy Mark Scores, Kevin Wheeler with you here. A lot of things that we want to get into today. We're gonna talk some ball a little bit later on. 12:30, we'll have our Redbird report. Mike Claiborne's going to join us at 1 o'clock. Coming up at 11:30, Rich Rubino is going to join us. We'll talk about a little bit of like political perspective on historical things that happened compared to how things are now. Kind of do that. I really enjoy those, by the way, because a lot of times we think like these are the only times that these things have happened, and well, we weren't around. And
yep, this is the worst it's ever been.
And even if you've read about those other terrible times, you didn't live them. And when you live something, it just feels different to you. And it's a fascinating thing. We'll obviously continue that conversation a little bit later on.
So I want to tell you about two things that just happened in our office that we share with members of the Dave Glover Show.
Mm-hmm. Trish and Andrew.
So I walk in there to talk to Andrew, and I can see that Trish's things are on the table back in the corner. Right. And there's like this little nook.
You know what that is?
That's
Charlie Brennan's old desk.
That's the Brennan Hideaway.
It's the
Brennan
Charlie
Hideaway.
Brennan Memorial Hideaway.
And if you sit back there, you can hide from people, which is why they call it the Hideaway. And I knew she was there. And I walk in, and she's hiding up against the wall like she's going to jump out and scare me. And then she jumps to scare me, and then she jumps again, and then she starts laughing and says, "I was waiting to scare you, but then I scared myself."
Well, because you scared her recently, right?
And you did before
and
that.
I did, and I didn't really mean to, but I did it
yes,
bad.
You did.
No, I was bad. Like I was trying to be silly, but I actually scared the crap out of her, and I felt bad about it. But we're both on the revenge list.
Oh, is that what it is?
Yeah.
Well, then let me tell you what happened about 20 seconds later. I'm eating grapes, And the other day, you were all making fun of me for eating
Yeah, because
raisins.
who
Like, what are you,
eats-
6?
Who eats raisins?
I mean, I eat them in things.
Yeah,
like
well,
in an
Put them
oatmeal
in-
cookie. Or
I'm sorry. I was at the store. I saw a
He
bag
had
of
that,
raisins.
Like that little kid box.
Yeah.
That your mom put in your lunchbox when you're little.
I had to have the
It's-
raisins.
I don't know when the last time I saw a grown man eating raisins.
Last
just
week.
To eat
It
raisins.
was last week, and it
Yeah,
was me.
like they might be in a trail mix or something.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I understand it's not normal, guys. So
Well, it's good that you understand.
I know.
today, I got some grapes out of the little vending machine that we've got. And I'm eating the grapes. And she said, "What are you eating, raisins again?" And I said, "No, these are grapes." I said, "They're pre-raisins."
Mhm.
And then she says, "Why are you calling them that?" And I said, "Well, they're grapes."
Mhm.
She's like, "Well, grapes are grapes raisins?" Like, yes. and I'm like, "Are you
shouldn't be
serious?"
Telling the story.
And I'm like, "Are you serious?" And I'm laughing at her. And as I'm leaving the office, I hear her go, "Are raisins grapes?" She's Googling it.
Oh no.
Oh, poor
You
Trish.
shouldn't be like throwing her under the bus like
Yes,
that.
I
Monty.
should. She'll throw me under the bus.
That's fair. That's fair.
Are raisins grapes?
You just need to watch
That's
out though,
amazing.
because she will get payback.
I know. But I'm on the lookout for her. I think I'm good.
You hope you are.
I'm not too
Yeah,
worried
I
about
don't
it.
know. I mean, I don't think Trish strikes me as like, oh, I'm gonna prank you back. It could be like she will take you out in an alley.
But you know,
Do you know what I mean? Like, there's like, oh, Kevin's gonna prank me. Trish is going
I
to
think-
end me.
She got a galooly you.
she probably
Get
looked.
a little kneecap. You don't know the galooly?
What's a galooly?
That's Jeff.
You know who Jeff
Galooly,
Galooly
the guy
is?
the guy that well, it was
Amy.
It was Sean Eckhart
The Tanya Harding.
Yes.
that hit.
Yeah,
Nancy
yeah, yeah,
Kerrigan's
So
yeah.
I know
knee.
the
Yeah,
Nancy Kerrigan, but I guess I didn't know that it was Galooly.
Yeah,
that
we
did
call
it.
it
How, that was the most important part of the whole thing.
Galooly was the orchestrator of it all. So when
Yeah.
you say like they got Galooly, that means somebody smacked you in
Oh,
your
yeah.
legs.
I would always say, Tanya Harding or Nancy Kerrigan.
Yeah.
Poor
Anyway.
Tanya Harding.
Poor Tanya Harding.
This is a mess.
Well, that's true. That,
I will
yeah.
say, well, never mind.
She had quite an upbringing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So I saw, and I'm gonna try not to be too
What you're going
mean.
to try to say is it's not the stupidest article of all time.
No, it might be, and I'm not. I don't want to be mean. I don't know Daniel Neiman from the Post.
Just be
Dispatch at
honest,
all.
Kevin.
But there's a story today that is essential. It was yesterday. I don't know, one of the last couple of days, but a column, I should say, that was about dynamic pricing at ball games and how terrible it is and all that. I think you could make a case against dynamic pricing at sporting events, entertainment events, or whatever, right? I mean, you could make a case that maybe it shouldn't be that way or whatever, but the case that was made was nonsense, right? So this is the story was about dynamic pricing at Busch Stadium, and the idea is, and I'll read a couple of quotes, and I'm not taking anything out of context, but essentially, the argument made in the column was seeing the Cardinals play the Yankees is, quote, the same experience as seeing them play the Pirates, which is like my response to that was, tell me you don't know anything about sports without saying you don't know anything about sports. Like facing the best team in the game with some of the biggest stars in the game, a team that is the most famous franchise in the history of the sport, maybe in the history of American sports, period, is the same as facing a perennial last place team that's always bad. That is a team. And by the way, not only that, it's a team, the Pirates, you play 19 times every year.
Mm-hmm.
You don't play the Yankees every year. You play them every, 5 years, 6 years, and sometimes it's here and sometimes it's in New York. Like, so there's all of these arguments about like the difference. So if your argument is, well, look, it's the same experience one way or the other. No, it's not. It's like saying that, and I put this on our little rundown. It's like saying that if you go to the Hollywood Casino Amphitheater, it's the same experience seeing the Rolling Stones as it is a Beatles cover band. Should be the same price. It's idiotic.
You could make the argument if you don't care about the game itself, if you don't care about what's really happening on the field, that all the other game operation stuff happens every time, every night.
that's
It's not like it's different,
But
but
that's how concert venues work.
same concessions, same food, same beer, same everything.
Right.
Except for the teams on the field. Like you can make that argument, but there's a reason that people will pay more money or that stadiums will sell out better if the Yankees are in town because they want to watch the Yankees play.
Do you not understand the secondary ticket market value either, right? Like, so even if these were all the same, the secondary market, these tickets would be way more expensive because
Right.
there's that much more demand. So what we're saying is the team in a business venture should not be allowed to say, hey, you're going to get a real bargain when the Pirates come to town,
Yeah.
but if you want to see the Yankees,
Right.
it costs more because we know there's more demand.
And how many $10 ticket games have the Cardinals had?
I mean,
They have a ton. Yeah, they have a
have
lot of those.
ton.
You know, I use this example a lot. People always complain about tickets in sports being too expensive. Right. Okay. First of all, live entertainment is expensive. I don't care if you're going to a concert, if you're going to go see a Broadway show, live entertainment is really expensive. And the idea that it should somehow just be affordable because it's sports, like, oh, yeah, you know what? I want to drive a Ferrari. A Ferrari should be what I want to pay for it.
You know,
Even though it costs more to make, even though it's in high demand, I should be able to. I love cars. I should be able to have the car I want for a reasonable price.
Well, I think another point, again, I don't mean to be piling on, but of all the things that are going wrong in this country and in this city, the Cardinals' dynamic pricing is like actually something that works in our favor 99% of the time.
A lot of teams do it. The dynamic pricing it's not a new concept. It's been around for a while, and it works pretty well, I think.
We talk about how great the Cardinals giveaways are, right? I mean, the jerseys are high quality jerseys, the coffee mugs, the Yetis. I mean, really great giveaways. And in this article, the argument is that, well, the giveaways, the cost of the giveaways are built into the ticket prices, and you still have to pay that full price even if you don't want the giveaway. That is quite literally how every business works. Like they build the cost of business into the price of the product. Then don't go to the game. I mean, I don't know what else to tell you, or wait for a $10 ticket.
I mean, and again, this is another thing that people, again, I understand it's the world I lived in. I've lived in my whole life, right? I understand the sports world. I know people always complain about the tickets and be like, it's too expensive to go. Really? I say, check the ticket apps half an hour before the first pitch of a game. I guarantee you're going to get in for less than face value, and you're probably going to get in for less than $20.
It's like anything else. If you have some flexibility with the teams that you're going to see and the nights that you can go, you can find a $10 ticket or a $20. It's not that difficult. So I guess the only argument is if you want to go to a Saturday night game and see the New York Yankees
and sit in the seats near
and sit in the most
dugout.
expensive seats, that it's going to be expensive.
Yeah,
it's just tougher to go whenever you want to go, and then have the ticket price be the price you want it to be. It just doesn't work that.
They had $10 tickets for the Cubs series.
Yeah,
they did because you don't want to know why.
Because the Cubs are bad.
Because there's less demand from Cubs fans.
Right. They're not traveling to see them.
Hence, there's more value passed along to you. I mean, and look, I understand that you might say it might feel unfair, but it's not at all when people are choosing to do these things. You can choose to go pay for the Yankees, or you can choose to say, you know what? It's a better deal for me if I go see the Reds, or I go see the Cubs, or I go see anyone else.
Now, I'm not totally convinced it's not like a parody, like I'm going to write this.
Maybe it is. Maybe it is.
I mean, if it were April 1st, I would say, well, this is a joke, because this is 2 short paragraphs from the end of the piece. I have a modest proposal for a more fair and equitable form of dynamic pricing, he writes. I think pricing should be determined by the game's outcome, and you pay as you leave the stadium. If you're a Cardinals fan and the team wins handily in an enjoyable route, that seat should cost $100. If it was a dull game, with the Cardinals driving in the decisive run with a lazy sacrifice fly in the 3rd inning, they should only charge you $30 as you leave. This can't be real.
That is the same concept as people who say a player should get paid based on performance at the end of the year.
Though, would you sign up for that?
No, never.
As a fan, would you go not knowing what it's going to cost?
I would take a loss.
So I'm going
to pay $30 than see a great win for $100.
Amy, I'm gonna go with you. I'm gonna say that I hope that this is a parody.
I think it might
be.
It's
but who are you parodying?
I mean, I mean, we're
most
talking
people
about
understand this.
I was trying to go to a Bulls game in December, and on their website, I took a look, and if you looked at some of the other games, it was like an NBA game, $100-something bucks depending on where you're sitting. But the Lakers were in town.
Ooh.
LeBron and the Lakers were in town, and if you go to the team's website, not StubHub, not one of the ticket apps. You go to the team's website, lower bowl seats, over 1,000.
Yeah.
And that's for a regular season NBA game. So there's dynamic pricing.
Yes,
Obviously,
yes.
if they're playing, I don't know, I'm trying to think of a really bad team.
The Pistons.
Yeah, if they're playing Detroit, it's probably not going to be that.
No.
But again, sorry, just the outcome-based ticket pricing. This is why I think it might be a joke.
Let's
an
hope so.
article,
Fingers
just
crossed.
Clickbait. If you're a Cardinals fan and the team wins handily, if you're so let's say they're playing the Reds. So if you're a Reds fan, what do you pay? Let's say you don't really care that much about baseball. You're a Yankees fan or someone else. What do you pay? Like, I don't understand how this got written and published unless it was for clickbait and we're all talking about it, which at that point, well done.
Not only talking about it, though, but making fun of it.
Well,
because either way, it's dumb. Let's be honest.
It's so
if it's
weird.
a parody story, it's dumb. And if it's real, you just don't understand anything at all.
You know, we were talking about ticket prices. I just thought of this. A friend of mine the other day sent me a photo of a ticket stub from a U2 concert we went to in 2006. She goes, check the price. $49. $49. You know what I mean? Like, things are just so much more expensive now.
For everything online, it's Odyssey.com. Download the Odyssey app and listen to The Dave Glover Show and all the news, talk, sports, and podcasts that move you. Odyssey, that's AUDACY.
Race fans, this is Frank Bomarito. The Bomarito Automotive Group 500 Race to the Savings Sales event is back, and you're the winner at every Bomarito location. When you purchase or lease any new or pre-owned vehicle, make your best deal and receive 2 tickets to the Bomarito Automotive Group 500. That's the Race to the Savings Sales event going on now. Details at Bomarito.com. See you at the track.
CertaPro painters have powers beyond those of ordinary painters.
The power of precision.
That's the power of a skilled local team who know what they're doing.
The power of accurate estimates.
Estimates, not guesstimates.
The power of certainty.
CertaPro painters. That's the power of pro. Get your project started at CertaPro.com.
Each CertaPro painter's business is independently owned and operated.
Hey, this is Charlie Brennan for Ophthalmology Associates. You know, about 25 years ago, I turned my eye care over to Ophthalmology Associates, and since then, I've never thought of going anywhere else. Dr. Greg Birdie has guided me through LASIK surgery and the treatment of dry eye. He cares about me and my eyesight and is always looking out for my best interests, and he does the same thing for my wife and kids and sister. He's not only my doctor, but also a good friend. And you know, Doctors Birdie, Malhotra, Brusati, and Royer are known as the doctor's doctors because these 4 have treated more doctors than any other practice in St. Louis. That's why they're known as the doctor's doctors. To schedule an appointment today, you need to call the doctor's doctors at 314-966-5000, or you can get more information at youridoc.com. Cataracts, glaucoma, dry eye, poor vision. Don't procrastinate. Call the doctor's doctors today at 314-966-5000 or online at youridoc.com.
In this market, you'll find Fisher Investments is different than other money managers.
Different how? Aren't we all just looking for the hottest stocks?
Nope. We use diversified strategies to position our clients' portfolios for their long-term goals.
You don't just provide cookie-cutter portfolios?
No. We tailor our clients' portfolios to their goals and needs.
But you still sell investments that generate high commissions for you, right?
No, we don't sell commission-based products. We're a fiduciary, the highest standard of care for a financial advisor. It means we're obligated to act in our clients' best interest.
So when do you make more money? Only when your clients make more money?
Yep, we have one transparent management fee structured so we do better when our clients do better.
Sounds like you really look out for your clients.
We do, because our priority is helping them achieve a comfortable retirement. That might be why most of our clients come from other money managers. Visit FisherInvestments.com to find out why investors like you switch to us. Fisher Investments, clearly different money management.
Investments in securities involve the risk of loss.
Hey guys, Glover here for my friends at ThrottleNet. These are the genius IT guys I've been representing for years and years now. We are number one all the time. Best in customer service from Small Business Monthly. Best in cybersecurity, again, Small Business Monthly. We have an average response time. I love this statistic. The average response time in St. Louis in 2020 by IT companies. You have a problem, you reach out to them, hey, I'm all shut down, help me. It was 3 hours. If you got back within 3 hours, you were cool. Ours was 1 minute, 57 seconds, and the guys were very unhappy with that. It takes less than 2 minutes for us to address your problems. Here's a huge thing. We are now offering $500,000 in ransom protection to everyone who uses us. This is part of the deal. You don't pay extra for it. So if you happen to be hit and you have to pay, we're going to pay it up to $500,000. Now, this shows you how confident we are because no one under our protection has ever had to pay. Go to throttlenet.com/DGS.
Serving St. Louis for over 96 years. KMOX.
It's 11:21 on the show. Amy Marks, course, Kevin Wheeler with you here. You can find us on the old Twitter at the show KMOX.
I should probably follow us on
you
Twitter.
Should follow that, and then you can reach us there if you would like.
Did you say it's at the show
Yes,
KMOX on
you should
Twitter?
follow. Yes.
I'm gonna go do it right now.
And 436-7900.
314.
Everybody knows that.
Yeah.
Well, no, because it could be 636.
It could be, but it's not. We're downtown.
Well, just be clear.
636 is not downtown.
Well, people don't know that.
314-436-7900. 314.
Maybe they think we're in Creve Coeur.
1120 if you want to drop a voicemail. And if you would like to engage in some kind of, I don't know, let's say political protest, don't glue yourself to anything.
I know. So the climate change activists, God bless them, but they always seem to have the least effective and the most unusual way to protest, whether it is recently, I mean, it's been an issue in the UK. Climate activists are gluing themselves to fine works of art like Van Gogh and Renoir, which just seems destructive. Then who was the actor that glued himself?
The Succession actor
James Cromwell.
Yeah.
Yep.
He glued himself because the almond milk was more than the regular
Yes.
milk.
At Starbucks.
Yeah, he glued himself to
was
the counter.
Was it Starbucks? Or
I think it was a Starbucks.
Whatever. It was a
Yeah.
coffee place.
And now climate activists are planning to interrupt the congressional baseball game, which just seems random. Like, okay, guys, the world's going
Well, I don't
to
care
hell.
about the congressional baseball
Yeah,
game.
let 'em
Go
mess it
ahead.
up.
Yeah,
That
that's
could
fine.
actually
I don't
be
give a
funny.
Like,
crap
what
about
is it
that.
doing?
I don't know, but it could be funny.
Yeah, that might be okay.
Is it that
I'm
funny?
perfectly fine with it.
Who cares
It
about
won't
the
be
congressional
effective.
baseball game?
Exactly. Like you want them to. So the congressional baseball game, I'm assuming, is people in Congress.
Yes, they go play. It's
Yeah.
an
So
annual
then you
tradition.
go,
Yeah.
you go, and you protest in front of them, so they see you.
Yeah, but
the
if they did, like,
policymakers.
for example, if they all decided like the idiots do at professional sporting events, if they all decided to go streaking, it would be hilarious. You're not disrupting any government proceeding. You're
You know
not
what?
really changing it.
If
It
there
would
was-
be hilarious.
If there was going to be a naked protest, it would absolutely be climate activists, which is fine. Like I said, but they just always seems to do the very odd ones, very odd
and
protests.
look, and their cause is just because we better figure out this climate thing,
But
and we're going to
stop
be in some
gluing
serious
yourself.
trouble.
Yeah.
Well, let me get there, Amy.
Oh, I'm
Raji,
sorry,
skip
sir.
the story and get to the end.
Let me finish your point for you. Like, well, can I start it first?
Oh, if you would
Jeez.
hurry up. It's only a 4-hour
I was speaking
show.
for 4 seconds. Amy over here filibusters like she's on the Senate floor. I'm sorry. Mike.
Hey, that's Wheeler.
Okay, I'm finished with my 25 minutes. Go ahead, Chris. You have 4 seconds. Amy. It's actually both of you.
Well, I just okay.
Ranji, proceed.
Be interesting.
The
Say
floor
something.
the floor is yours.
Well, you be interesting first, and then I'll follow it up with something and do yours in much less time.
The floor
okay,
is yours.
The floor is yours.
I forgot what I was saying now,
No,
you jerks.
The climate activists.
Yeah, no,
Just Cause.
their cause is just because, I mean, we clearly have a problem. Like, there's clearly an issue that we need to address, and we need to solve it and be serious about it and not continue to dismiss it. But the manner that you choose to get people's attention does matter.
Mhm.
So when you, for example, block traffic, doesn't matter what your cause is. You might be correct. You might be right, but you cannot do something that irritates people to where they want to kill you. Now, I was watching a video from, I think it happened in Italy, and I don't remember what the activists were, but they were blocking traffic on a highway. And people were furious, and they got out of their cars And they went up to the people who were blocking the traffic. They were sitting in a row, blocking, 3 or 4 lanes worth of highway traffic, and just started dragging them off to the side of the road. And then got in their cars and angrily sped away. You can, if you want people to pay attention to your cause, you have to do it in a way that doesn't piss them off.
Messaging.
It absolutely matters.
It does matter. And this was last year. Again, a guy set himself on fire, I believe, in front of the Supreme Court. A climate activist set himself on fire. Again, that's not great for a lot of reasons. You shouldn't do that, but that's not the message that you want to send. And this is
I would argue it's better than blocking traffic. It makes fewer people angry.
Jeez. Well, now
I mean, you're getting people's attention, but what I'm talking about is angering people.
What you're talking about is trying to get your message delivered and received and then considered. But
And
when people are angry, they're not going
That's
to
exactly
listen.
it.
Yeah.
and being dead serious about this. Like, we just saw Supreme Court Justice Brett Kavanaugh. There were protesters outside of the Morton Steakhouse where he was eating, and the crowd was growing and becoming so raucous outside the restaurant that he had to, leave through the back. That, to me, is not going to change minds. I think if you are a movement, you should look at the LGBT movement and the way that the cultural perception of that was changed so overwhelmingly in favor of that movement so quickly, because it wasn't an angry movement at all. Do you know what I mean? It wasn't blocking highways, but it was the way the LGBT community moved forward with saying, this is who we are, this is what we want, this is what we stand for. And it was very inclusive. It was very successful.
Yeah, I don't know if the Mortons protested. I don't know. Again, I haven't seen video from any of it. I don't know if it turned violent or
If it
whatever.
did, it's terrible.
That's different.
I'm all for making powerful people.
Yeah, I
uncomfortable,
don't. I'm not so sure that that's the worst thing in the world. Standing outside of a restaurant and chanting or holding signs or whatever. That's fine. But when you block traffic,
Or
people
when you-
are going to want to kill you.
Or when you threaten people or anything,
Yes,
you're
that's
losing the message.
totally different.
It's all about summer heat and humidity. Summer weather.
We're breezy and we're hotter today. We're going to get up to 95.
Summer traffic. 2 major closures.
Plenty of detours.
Ramps that are closed. Up to the minute forecast from Dean DeVore and Dave Murray. Keeping it all about sunshine.
It looks like the weekend gets sweltering again.
The latest traffic from Roger Brand.
Southbound Lindbergh on the westbound 270 closed for the next 3 weeks.
Stay up to date.
Keep abreast of the current information.
It's super important for me to know when you need to know. We've got you covered on News Radio 1120 KMOX.
Hello, this is Dave Walker, former Comptroller General of the United States. The federal government has grown dramatically, promised too much, lost control of its budget, and must restructure its finances in order to create a better future.
I agree, Dave. This is Ken Heisey from Heisey Advisory Group, and you're invited to a special event on Thursday, August 25th. Dave and I will talk about our country's financial issues and how they may impact your retirement. Learn why it's critical to take action now and discover strategies that can help protect your future. If you've saved at least $750,000 for retirement, call 314-328-4400 to register for this special event. After a decades-long mission to promote fiscal responsibility at all levels of government, you won't want to miss what Dave has to say. Call 314-328-4400.
Dave Walker is not affiliated with and does not endorse Heisey Advisory Group or AE Wealth Management, LLC. Heisey Advisory Group may not provide tax advice and is not affiliated with the U.S. government. Investment advisory services offered through AE Wealth Management, LLC.
Sure, we all love to have a clean home, but what about the things that you can't see that are making your home dirty? I'm talking about germs, bacteria, mold, and more. This is Debbie Monterey, and you really need to call Beam of St. Louis if you want a truly healthy home. Beam of St. Louis can provide you with a whole house HEPA air filtration system that provides HEPA pure air 24/7 in every room in your home. It'll help reduce allergy symptoms without a prescription. For the healthiest home possible, make sure you have a Beam Central Vacuum System. It removes 100% of the collected germs, bacteria, mold, and dust. So, a Beam Central Vacuum System and a Beam Whole House HEPA air filtration system. The folks at Beam of St. Louis are great to work with, fantastic customer service, one-day installation. Give them a call at 314-567-1515 or online at beamstl.com. That's Beam of St. Louis. You'll be glad you called.
At 11:30, it's sunny and 85 degrees downtown at the Arch. Former Prime Minister Shinzo Abe was assassinated on a street in western Japan by a gunman who opened fire on him from behind as he delivered a campaign speech. Former Trump White House counsel Pat Cipollone has arrived on Capitol Hill for a private interview with the January 6th committee. Ford is expanding a recall of SUVs and telling owners to park them outside after a series of engine fires that can happen even when the ignitions are off. In May, Ford recalled about 39,000 2021 Ford Expedition and Lincoln Navigator SUVs and told owners to park them outdoors and away from buildings. Today, the company expanded that recall to cover more than 66,000 SUVs after getting reports of 5 more fires. Debris on 44 East at Williams Road has the right lane closed to stall 270 north past Gravois on the right shoulder. And the forecast this afternoon, hot and humid with times of clouds and sunshine and a high of 93 with real field temperatures topping 100 at times. And we could have a thunderstorm in some spots late in the day or this evening. Overnight, 72. Tomorrow, 85. It's 85 now downtown. I'm Michael Calhoun, KMOX News.
Driven by the Bommarito Automotive Group, the voice of St. Louis, KMOX.
Park Provence, an assisted living and skilled nursing memory care community, understands the challenges when caring for a loved one with dementia or other forms of memory loss. You're not alone. Park Provence is a trusted expert in memory care and recently recognized as a best memory care community by U.S. News and World Reports. Call 314-452-5200 or to learn more, parkprovence.com. That's PARC Provence.com.
You like a company that really stands behind its product? Well, listen to what Diamonds Direct does. Let's say you buy a diamond today for $6,000, but later on you want to trade up to a larger diamond or maybe a different shape. Diamonds Direct will give you $6,600 towards the new diamond. That's a guaranteed 10% appreciation. Let me say it again. You paid $6,000 originally, but Diamonds Direct pays you $6,600 for that same diamond when you upgrade. 10% more for the same diamond. It's Diamonds Direct's 110% upgrade guarantee, and it applies to diamond pendants and diamond stud earrings as well. You get the extra 10% on a $3,000 diamond or a $30,000 diamond. Doesn't matter. No strings attached either. You can get the 110% trade-up value regardless of the cost of the new diamond. And you can upgrade as many times as you like. Now that's peace of mind. And that's a company that believes in its product. Diamonds Direct. Your love, our passion.
Hey, it's Tom Ackerman. Join me Monday mornings at 9:50 for our new feature, 5 Minutes with Number 5. And you know who that is, Albert Pujols. 5 Minutes with Number 5, Mondays at 9:50 a.m. on the Voice of the Cardinals, KMOX.
All right, it's 11:33 on the show on KMOX. Chris Ranji, Amy Marks, Scores, Kevin Wheeler, and our guest Rich Rubino with us. You'll find Rich on Twitter at Rich Rubino, POL. Obviously, author of a number of books, The Political Bible of Humorous Quotations from American Politics, The Political Bible of Little-Known Facts in American Politics. And today, Rich, we're going to we're going to cross the ocean a little bit. I know we'll look for some examples in American history of what we just saw happen in the UK with Boris Johnson stepping down. But, world leaders stepping down, I wouldn't hazard a guess as to say how common it is, but it's certainly noteworthy. And I know the only one I can think of in American history is Richard Nixon.
Yes. I mean, there are other examples. I think that it's interesting because obviously Richard Nixon is the only president that actually had to resign from office. And he did that in part because the Republican leadership, actually Senator Barry Goldwater, who was the nominee in 1964, Senator Hugh Scott, the Senate Minority Leader, and John Rhodes, the House Minority Leader, actually came to the White House and told him that essentially what was going to happen after the Judiciary Committee voted out articles of impeachment, it would go to the House. The House would impeach, then it would go to the Senate. And Barry Goldwater said, "You'll probably have about 7 votes, and I'm not one of them." So Nixon knew the handwriting was on the wall and knew that he was likely to be impeached and convicted. So the only thing he could actually do would be to resign. But it's interesting because in our system, what often happens, what happened twice in our system, is you've had presidents actually compete in the New Hampshire primary. The New Hampshire primary, I guess, is kind of a precursor and do poorly and then announce they're not running for re-election. I can think of 2 examples. In 1952, Missouri's own Harry Truman, who had job approval ratings that went down to 22%, the lowest in the history of polling. He competed in the New Hampshire primary, And Estes Kefauver, a senator from Tennessee, defeated him. And it appeared that if Truman continued, he would probably lose the primaries. So he announced after that he would not run for re-election, but similar to Boris Johnson, I guess you could say he didn't actually resign. He was kind of a caretaker president because he actually served as president until 1953. And the more recent example would be Lyndon B. Johnson. In 1968, he competed in the New Hampshire primary. He actually didn't officially compete. He's actually a write-in candidate, but Eugene McCarthy, senator from Minnesota, came within 6 points of defeating Lyndon Johnson. So a couple of days later, Lyndon Johnson announces to the country, I shall not seek and I will not accept the nomination of my party for another term as your president. But he stayed on as president until 1969. Actually, his job approval rating went up about 16 points after he had made that announcement. In both cases, though, they did serve as caretakers till the end of the term.
Everything with Boris Johnson was precipitated by many high-ranking officials and secretaries resigning. Has there ever been a moment in U.S. history when a president was facing members of his cabinet and members of his administration stepping down in some form of protest?
Yeah, you have had, it's very rare actually in the United States system, but you have had a few. You had William Jennings Bryan, for example, who was Secretary of State under Woodrow Wilson, who thought that Woodrow Wilson was too bellicose, too willing to go into World War I. He resigned. You had Cyrus Vance actually under the Jimmy Carter administration, in part because Jimmy Carter had approved what became a failed mission to try to rescue the hostages in Iran, and Cyrus Vance did not favor it. So he resigned based on that. But it's very rare that you actually have a cabinet official resign during an administration. Obviously, you had Trump had a few toward the end of his term, Elaine Chao being one of them, the labor secretary, but it's relatively rare. Usually what will often happen is there'll be an official in an administration. Scott McCollum comes to mind, for example, the press secretary under George W. Bush, who essentially sang the chorus of supporting the Iraq War and while he was in the administration. But then after he left office, he became a vociferous critic of George W. Bush and actually wrote a book about George W. Bush, criticizing his decision to go into Iraq War. The other would be Don Regan, the chief of staff under President Ronald Reagan, who later in life became a critic of Ronald Reagan, but they were not, when they resigned at the time, they were not resigning necessarily as critics of the president.
Every country and every position is different. It's if a member of the House in this country steps down, that's a lot different than if the president steps down. Historically speaking, and every country is different. So historically speaking, around the world, when somebody does at this level abdicate their position, what is usually the fallout as far as the country is concerned, and how does it affect the country, either positively or negatively?
Usually what happens is there's somebody else who steps up, who fills the breach, if you will, in that party. For example, when Margaret Thatcher resigned, you had John Major. And in Margaret Thatcher's case, Thatcher was seen as more conservative, John Major more a kind of a technocrat. It's interesting if you parallel what's happened since Margaret Thatcher was in to what's happening in the United States. When Margaret Thatcher came in the United States, Ronald Reagan came in. After Margaret Thatcher resigned, John Major became a prime minister. John Major seen as more pragmatic in the U.S. George H.W. Bush came in seen as more moderate than Ronald Reagan. In Great Britain, after George H.W. Bush lost, Bill Clinton came in and he ran as a new Democrat, someone who's trying to modernize the Democratic Party, moderate it, bring it to the center. What happened in the United States? Tony Blair came in, exact same slogan. He ran on New Labor, just like Bill Clinton ran as a New Democrat. And he goes on and serves. So it's very similar. It's the systems between the United States and Britain in terms of who we elect is very similar. But one thing I will say, though, and a lot of people don't understand about our parliamentary systems, and they say, how can he still serve and is there going to be an election? Well, what's interesting is you don't directly elect the prime minister. There are 650 members of the lower house of parliament in Great Britain. And Boris Johnson is actually one representative. It's like the Speaker of the House, Nancy Pelosi, at the district. He has a constituency, so he's not resigning from his constituency. It's just there's going to be a new parliamentary election. And in that new parliamentary election, the Tory party, or the Conservative Party, rather, will elect a new prime minister. But, he will obviously continue his constituency and he will continue being a member of parliament as potentially a backbencher, although he could resign that as well.
Rich, how many times when we've seen a world leader step down, have they gone this route?
But them's the breaks.
Them's the breaks, Rich.
Them's the breaks. That was,
Yes,
I mean, I know he's a bizarre guy, but that was a really bizarre way of handling that.
Yes, I mean, I do not think Clement Attlee or Harry McMillan or anybody else would use terms quite as shall we say, basic as that. But I guess that's part of his appeal, though. That's part of his appeal, I guess, is he's able to relate to the British people, to his constituents, by speaking in a very by using a lexicon that is very, shall we say, I guess parochial, or something that the average person would probably use. But that is a term that I'm going to try to use as much as I possibly can in my real life now.
Yeah, it takes the mistakes were made to a whole new level. Like, I had nothing to do with this, and as Wheeler put it is a real shame that all this stuff happened to me. But them's the breaks.
But them's the breaks.
I think Bojo sounds like a great time. Kind of guy you want to have a beer with, or hang out at a pandemic party, whatever.
Well, yes. That's partly his appeal right there. Is he doesn't come off as somebody who's, shall we say, overly intellectual. And in politics, unlike in any other field, if you try to sound like the average person rather than trying to sound like you went to Harvard, you went to Yale, it actually benefits you. And if you do have an Ivy League education, you never tell anyone you had an Ivy League education. If you didn't go to college, you tell people that. So if you say them's the breaks, that's actually probably helping you politically to relate to the average person. It's fascinating.
Them's the breaks.
You know what? And actually, I have a question about that, because it seems like in the last 20 years, it's more popular as a politician to be folksy than at any other time in history. But maybe I just don't have the knowledge of what happened prior. Is this like I don't know. Is this right now a better environment for people who are kind of like that? You know what I mean? Like who?
Yes. Yes, categorically, yes. Here's the perfect example. George W. Bush, when he ran in 1978 for a congressional seat, an open congressional seat against Ken Hans said, Texas Tech, where he went, plays better in the 19th congressional district than Harvard and Yale. That's where George W. Bush, he went to Yale, then he went to Harvard Business School. He said, I'm never going to get out-Texaned again. So in 1994, he develops a little bit of a Texas twang. He runs against Dan Richards, the quintessential Texan, and he's able to be folksy, and he wins. And then after that, he buys a ranch in Crawford, Texas, runs for president in 2000, calls himself an old boy from West Texas, and this all helped him. And did you ever hear George W. Bush mention the fact that he went to Harvard, that he went to Yale? No, you hear him mention the fact that he grew up that he's from Texas, that he has a ranch in Texas, that he was governor of Texas. It completely helped him. It's the weirdest field ever. If you're running for just about anything else and you go to Harvard, you go to Yale, you basically tattoo it on your forehead. You're running in politics. You went to Harvard, you went to Yale. You never tell anybody that. And if you failed biology class, or if you failed history class in 10th grade, you tell people that because it makes you relate to the average person. It's so fascinating, and it's so anticlimactic, and it's so much different than pretty much any other field that I can think of in the entire world.
So the sweet spot is don't tell them you went to Harvard, but also try to spell potato correctly. Somewhere between potato and Harvard.
That would not be unelectable now, you know?
Oh, my goodness.
No, that would help Dan Quayle relate to the average person. And it also, here's the thing with George W. Bush. Every time that the elites went after George W. Bush, it actually, I think, helped him in parts of the country, because even though he came from that very patrician background, went to all private schools, people started to think, wait, all these elites, all these people from Harvard are going after this guy. Maybe this guy is really one of us. And it backfired. And people in the middle of the country actually thought, you know what? George W. Bush, he speaks like us. He's really one of us. He's taking on the elites. It's absolutely fascinating how that played out.
But them's the breaks.
Awesome.
Rich, great stuff as always. Thank you, sir. We'll talk soon.
And I will print a T-shirt with that on and wear it all around.
Rich Rubino with us. You'll find Rich on Twitter at Rich Rubino, POL. He's obviously a well-known author, Political Bible of Humorous Quotations from American Politics, the Political Bible of Little-Known Facts in American Politics. And you know what? Like this whole thing is fascinating to me because it is absolutely happening. I mean, you mentioned George W. Bush was Ivy League. He was a wealthy oil man from a family that is a legacy political family, right? Prescott Bush was a big deal. His dad was president of the United States of America. You don't get much more establishment than that, but hey, I'm out here clearing brush.
I like W.
I think W probably is I know people who have met him or who know him and say he's really a swell guy, and I believe that. I absolutely believe that.
Not disputing it. I just think it's fascinating that you're a wealthy oil man whose family has been in politics for generations,
right?
But you're the regular guy. I mean, this guy, Alexander Boris de Pfeffel Johnson. His dad was in parliament. He comes up in politics.
What about the last president, too?
But I'm just this guy.
But them's the breaks.
Yeah, Bush and Trump. He's a billionaire.
He was
raised
born
by
into money.
another millionaire, but he's a regular guy.
Yeah, but is he from the house of de Pfeffel?
De Pfeffel.
Oh.
Alexander Boris de Pfeffel Johnson.
I might be a descendant of
De
the
Pfeffel.
de Pfeffel house.
But them's the breaks.
Join Yadier Molina and your favorite Cardinals players at the Flavors of Puerto Rico charity dinner on Monday, August 15th at the Chase Park Plaza. You can enjoy rum-based cocktails and dinner prepared by one of Puerto Rico's celebrity chefs. The event benefits Foundation 4, Yadi's Foundation, which raises funds for underprivileged kids in St. Louis and Puerto Rico. For tickets or to sponsor, visit YadierMolina4.com or send an email to info@YadierMolina4.com for more information. You can also check the events page at KMOX.com/events.
Men suffering from ED or PE, Paramount Men's Medical Center is featuring Restore Wave, the latest in non-invasive ED treatment. You'll see results on your first visit or pay nothing. Call 314-720-8081. That's 314-720-8081.
Nationally recognized, locally invested, Busey Bank is pleased to be named one of America's best banks for 2022 by Forbes. A prestigious and humbling honor, Busey is proud to deliver best-in-class service to our valued customers and vibrant communities. Whatever your financial needs, partner with an award-winning team for solutions to your business, wealth, and personal banking needs. Building business, growing wealth since 1868. Member FDIC.
Tired of the cookie-cutter feel of some new home communities? Discover the uniqueness of Lombardo Homes at Inverness. Inverness features variable setbacks throughout the neighborhood to create a park-like setting along the streets, as well as trails with pocket parks, loads of common ground, and 4 lakes. Inverness features custom homes ranging from 1,700 to over 2,500 square feet, priced from the high 300s. Tour our decorated display within Inverness, located on the north side of 5Z Road, west of Bryan Road. For more information, visit lombardohomes.com.
Are you tired of exposing your retirement to stock market risk? How would you like the potential to participate in credited interest from market index returns and limit the downside? Join me, Ben Coons, for the Retirement and Income Radio Show, heard here every Saturday at 3 p.m. on KMOX Radio. You can also call me now for your complimentary retirement and income book at 844-513-SAFE. That's 844-513-7233.
How long does it take an adult to learn to swim? It typically takes 20 hours of set lessons. What are you waiting for? Go to swimonfoundation.org.
The show, sponsored by Straight Realty, your St. Louis area experts. Why pay more than 4? 314-441-4444. Chris Ranji.
Wonderful bones, great eyes, and you dress really interesting.
On the show.
Right back on the show. Chris Ranji, Amy Marks, of course, Kevin Wheeler with you here. We talk a good bit. I think not by our own choice, but we end up talking about conspiracies a good bit because, well, QAnon and the effect that's had on politics and all that. But Amy, you got your tinfoil hat out today.
I do have my tinfoil hat because we mentioned this yesterday that my conspiracy is like big sugar and big GMO, like all
big
of our
aspartame.
Big aspartame, yeah.
Which Kevin is so deep into it with the aspartame people.
Oh my gosh!
I mean, those are my lobbyists.
Yeah.
The NRA is nothing compared to Kevin and Big
They lobby
Aspartame.
me, yeah.
Yeah, Kevin and Big Aspartame. Because all of our food, we have so much processed food here in the United States. And whether you're just looking at the big push for fat-free foods that are filled with all sorts of junk. Like
It's great
nothing-
alliteration.
Yes, thank you. Like
Defeffel.
I'm not even going to be able to.
Fat-free foods
Sorry,
are
go.
filled
You're
with
making-
defeffel.
Sorry, you're making a good point. I apologize for disrupting.
Hey,
that.
hurry up with your point, Amy.
feel
Why are you taking so long to make it?
distracted right now.
Sorry.
At any
continue.
rate,
No.
when you go to Europe or Israel, and I say Israel because my good friend just got back from there. She's from there. I visited. There are so many foods that the European Union and other countries like Israel do not allow, like wheat thins, because our flour is so processed. All of our boxed products are so processed. And that is so unhealthy for us that you forget. And again, my friend just got back. She goes, you know what I forgot? I forgot how there's like so few allergies and food intolerances in Israel. The peanut allergy doesn't exist. There's the data on that. In Israel, it doesn't. And a lot of the little kids, they all grow up eating these little peanut puffers, kind of like in the same way that every little kid grows up eating Cheerios here. They're just kind of universal. And I do think our diets overall are so ultra processed and so unhealthy. Like eating, I can't believe it's not butter over just actual butter. I watched a documentary on how they make it, and it is just processed oil that gets thickened and thickened until it's gray. Then they have to bleach the gray slime. They have to bleach it white so that they can dye it yellow. And I can believe that is not butter.
It is just, it is.
I don't know what it is, but I can believe it's not butter. But I mean, that type of food, it's not healing for you. And I understand this is a complicated issue, and my goodness, it's expensive to eat healthy.
Well,
but
that's there are a couple things. So this is where I'm not full like conspiracy theorist, but I do think there are practical reasons why we don't educate well enough on this stuff, right? I mean, there we have a study that shows this, and then another study that shows that, and then another study that says
all
this.
fat is bad. That's not true.
Right,
But we
we don't-
push that narrative.
And I think what you're really getting into too is the diet industry,
Mhm.
and there's a lot of money to be made with diet plans, supplements, ideas about what you should avoid and what you should eat. And everybody will get to one. Like for a long time, for example, keto was thought of as this great thing, and now there are people saying, maybe that's not so great.
Well, remember like Snackwell's cookies?
Oh,
How
yeah,
they're
yeah.
like
Yeah, yeah,
fat
yeah.
free, and these chocolate cookies. They are filled with ingredients that you can't pronounce. It would be healthier to eat one cookie that's just made
Well, this
with
is the
flour
problem.
and butter. One cookie
So
versus
this is the problem for a lot of people, though, and I'm experienced in this. Let's just say, sometimes you don't have the discipline, or you want to eat 3 cookies instead of 1 cookie, but it's also, you're right, Amy, in that even if you do that with those other ones, that's what ends up happening, and that's why when we were talking about the diet sodas the other day, it's not so much those in particular that make you gain weight, but it's your habits around that, and you're like, all right, well, I'm not getting calories there, so I can eat another cookie. Well, no, you can't. You got to have one. And I do think at a basic level, we all know this, right? Eat better food, eat less.
Of course.
But it's not easy.
It's expensive.
Well, not just that. It's expensive.
It's very expensive to do it that way. And to, you got 3 kids or 4 or whatever, and you're like, I need to feed the kids for dinner. Let's go through McDonald's and get a sack of burgers, and it's going to be a lot cheaper than getting actual whole foods
Tell your
at
story
Whole
from
Foods.
yesterday, Amy.
Yeah, I went to the grocery store. I eat a lot of fruits and vegetables and protein, right? If you need a lot of protein, and I'm trying to get a ton because I'm running, so 20 grams of protein 4 times a day.
Right.
And I am just
And
buying
not
for me.
and you're shooting for not processed. You're not talking about
Right.
protein bars or
No,
protein
not
shakes.
protein shakes.
You're talking about real food.
Whole foods,
Right.
like fish and chicken
Right.
and vegetables.
Right.
It was so expensive. And right now I know there's inflation as well, but I'm thinking I couldn't afford
Do you
to
mind
feed a
sharing
family
the
of
number?
4.
Because I think it says a lot.
Yes. So for me, it was $255.
And how long will that cover you?
I mean, probably not a week, which sounds terrible. I know
No,
that
no,
sounds
no.
really high, but because we want to eat enough calories, and again, I'm eating 4 meals, I'm eating all the protein.
Right.
It's so expensive. Now that number is also higher than normal because of inflation, which I think everybody
Sure,
knows.
but make that a family of 4.
Oh my gosh.
If you're going to feed, and let's not say little kids. Let's say you've got teenagers. Let's say you've got a 13-year-old and a 16-year-old, and you're trying to eat the way that you're talking about. You're trying to eat nothing processed. You're trying to eat whole foods. You're trying to eat lots of fruits and vegetables. how can anybody afford
Right.
what that would cost? Because I'm telling you right now,
You can't.
Those
I couldn't.
teenage boys are going to eat way more than you
Way
are.
more than that's what I'm saying is the only reason I can afford it is because it's me.
It's just
I
you.
could
yeah.
not feed a family.
Well, this
like
isn't just now, and yes, inflation has had some effect on that recently, but this is a conversation that I have been having for at least 12 years. Because I remember the first person I ever had this conversation with was back in like 2009. I know the year because that's the last time I think I talked to him. But
is that funny or sad?
No, it's fine. Everything's fine.
Okay.
So I remember having this conversation with her, and she was like, "Well, why don't people just eat? Just eat healthier. Get green beans instead of fries." And I'm like, it's
so
it
expensive.
sounds good. It sounds like the right thing to do, but it is very expensive to eat that way. And I also think part of the problem is we live a lifestyle here that's very quick, fast. We don't have time.
Busy.
We don't have time. We don't have time. So let's get something that is ultra processed, something that you
Yeah.
can heat quickly
Something
Because
that's
this
in
takes
the
a while,
microwave.
too. It takes a while to cook all this food.
NYU looked over data from the U.S. government, and this was they looked over about a 20-year period, and our diets of ultra processed foods accounted for 53%, about 54% actually, of calories back in 2001, 2002. By 2018, that had gone up by about 5%, which isn't a huge increase, but it's still an increase. Meanwhile, the whole foods consumption, which is crazy because we are so conscious of it now, I think more so than ever, actually fell.
You mean
by
actual
about 5.
Whole Foods, not
Actual,
the grocery
not
store.
the grocery
right,
store,
the
but like
actual
fruits, vegetables, and the
you-
stuff we were talking about. That
Yeah.
fell by about 5%.
And you mentioned other countries. Well, their pace of life is different. They stop to eat.
Right.
They make the
Mhm.
time to come home for lunch,
Or
hour or two at a time. Like it's not like we are, where it's like I'm gonna eat in the car on the way, and I'm gonna.
or countries like Israel that are fast paced and actually work 6 days a week. I mean, Sunday's a regular work day. You go to school on Sunday. Because of the climate there, because it's a smaller country, all the fruits and vegetables, nothing's imported. Everything's there. So it's just naturally families eat more salads. They eat more whole foods.
Yeah.
They're not eating the ultra processed. But I mean, my goodness, I had a ton of fruit today. We were just talking about that. Like, this was a lot of money of fruit.
You just ate $72 of worth of
I
fruit.
did, seriously. That's what it felt like.
You know what's cheaper than that? Cheez-Its.
Oh, and they're so good.
Oh my God, Cheez-Its are great.
They're the best.
Get the 4 cheese Cheez-Its.
Yes.
Oh.
Baby.
Oh my God. I'm gonna go have some processed food during the break.
When it comes to planning your retirement, there's a lot to think about. Portfolio management, tax planning, and retirement income just to get started. Steve All and his team at the All Financial Group focus on those things and more. Their goal is to help you achieve your goals. Call 636-230-8824 or online, yourmoneymattersstl.com. Investment advisory services offered through All Financial Group, LLC, a registered investment advisor. Insurance and annuity products offered through Stephen All, Missouri license 8039738.
Thanks for calling 1-800-GOT-JUNK. This is Sarah. How can I help?
I want to hear that sound again.
We make junk disappear.
All you have to do is point.
That's the sound?
That's the sound of the room getting bigger.
And cleaner.
And happier.
I love a happy room.
Is there anything else we can do for you?
I'd like you to come to my house right before we go on vacation.
You want to come home to a big, clean, happy house.
There's nothing better than that.
Call 1-800-GOT-JUNK.
Or visit 1-800-GOTJUNK.com.
You have more control over how much you pay in taxes when you retire than at any other time in your life. Don't miss Your Retirement Professors, Saturday afternoons at 1 on St. Louis's News Radio, KMOX.
KMOX, KECK HD2, K254CR, St. Louis.
The home of the Cardinals, KMOX.
An Odyssey station.
We thought it was over. Missouri Republican Governor Eric Greitens has just resigned this afternoon.
Scandal after scandal.
Already facing a felony charge, now accused of a second felony.
Now there's more about Eric Greitens.
Former Missouri governor is now accused of spousal abuse and intimidation.
In a sworn affidavit, Eric Greitens' former wife said,
I became afraid for my safety and that of our children due to Eric's unstable and coercive behavior. Physical violence toward our children, cuffing our then 3-year-old son across the face, yanking him around by his hair, a swollen face, bleeding gums, and a loose tooth. He said Dad had hit him. I wanted to protect our children because I was afraid of what Eric would do.
Scandals, felony charges, now physical abuse allegations. That's not conservative, but it's the real Eric Greitens. Paid for by Show Me Values PAC, showmevalues.org, and not authorized by any candidate or candidates committee. Show Me Values PAC is responsible for the content of this advertising.
Mid-America's most trusted source for news. KMOX.
At 12 noon, we've got some sun. It's 86 degrees downtown at the Arch. I'm Michael Calhoun. Our top story this hour, the St. Louis County man who told a jury he murdered his pregnant wife in a red haze of rage will spend the rest of his life in prison.
That was made official late this morning when Bo Rothwell was sentenced in St. Louis County Circuit Court. The life sentence stems from his conviction on a first-degree murder charge. He was also sentenced to 4 years in prison, each for evidence tampering and abandoning his wife's corpse. The sentences will run concurrently. Rothwell was found guilty in April in the November 2019 death of 28-year-old Jennifer. He told the jury he didn't mean to kill her, but hit her twice with a mallet while they argued about his extramarital affair. He used bleach and other materials to try to clean up the crime scene in their home and then dumped her naked body near Troy, Missouri. Brian Kelly, KMOX News.
President Biden says more Democrats are needed in the Senate to address the Supreme Court's decision to overturn Roe v. Wade.
We need 2 additional pro-choice senators and a pro-choice House to codify Roe as federal law. Your vote can make that a reality.
Mr. Biden today formalized instructions to the Departments of Justice and Health and Human Services to push back on efforts to limit the ability of women to access federally approved abortion medication or to travel across state lines to access clinical abortion services. Japan's current Prime Minister Fumio Kishida describes the assassination of his predecessor Shinzo Abe as an unforgivable act.
Kishida tells the media in the midst of an election, which is the root of democracy, this dastardly event took place. I would like to use the harshest words to condemn this unforgivable act. Kishida adds, Abe had the responsibility as a prime minister for 8 years and 8 months, a record in Japanese politics. Meanwhile, President Joe Biden says he is stunned, outraged, and deeply saddened by the news that my friend Abe Shinzo was shot and killed while out campaigning. I'm Charles de Ledesma.
A deadly amoeba has returned to Missouri.
For the first time in 35 years, the Missouri Department of Health confirms a human infection of a brain-eating amoeba. The unidentified patient is in intensive care being treated for a life-threatening case of primary amoebic meningoencephalitis. Iowa's health department has closed a lake at Three Fire State Park because that's where the Missouri resident was swimming. Neither department said where the victim is being treated and say they're still looking to confirm that lake as the source of the Naegleria fowleri amoeba. This is only the second ever Missourian known to have contracted the ailment. Sean Michael Lyle, KMOX News.
The First Mid Bank and Trust Business Desk, a reason to go to Kansas.
If you're looking for love, head to Wichita, Kansas. The real estate site Zillow is out with its ranking of the best U.S. cities to relocate to meet other singles. Wichita, number 1, followed by Austin, Texas, then Milwaukee. Tom Busby, Bloomberg Radio.
The Dow from Stifel's down 103 points to 31,281. And we've got a stall, 170 south on the ramp from Airport Road, 44 east before Lindbergh. The right lane is blocked. Emergency vehicles on 141 north at Page going west. Watch out there.
Hot and humid this afternoon with times of clouds and sun, high 93. There could be a thunderstorm in spots late in the day or evening. Some clouds later tonight, low 72, and a beautiful weekend with some sunshine and lower humidity. This is AccuWeather meteorologist Brian Thompson on the Voice of St. Louis, KMOX.
In Florissant, it's partly cloudy and 85, feels like 91. St. Peter's, 84, feels like 92. Downtown at the Arch, 86, feels like 94. I'm Michael Calhoun, KMOX News.
The show, sponsored by Straight Realty, your St. Louis area experts. Why pay more than 4? 314-441-4444.
$12:04 on the show on KMOX. Chris Ranji, Amy Mark Scores, Kevin Wheeler with you here on a Friday. I'm having a lot of fun and enjoyment today.
Do you usually not?
Well, I mean, like we're not talking about terrible things.
Oh,
like, when we're
I
talking
see
about
what you're
terrible
saying.
things. That kind of You know,
I think we've just ignored the terrible things today.
I don't know about ignore them. There's just nothing brand new that's terrible. It's just the same old terrible that's been there for days.
Well,
and days.
we're
and
still
days.
ignoring
A
it.
former prime minister was assassinated.
Oh,
We
God,
haven't talked
yeah.
about that yet. We probably should because it's such an
Wow.
it's such an unusual thing given where it happened. In case anybody has missed it, I don't know how you would have, but Shinzo Abe was assassinated in Japan. Former prime minister was speaking at a political rally and was attacked from behind, died later on in the day, 67 years old. Obviously highly unusual in a country that does not have many guns and does not
Well,
really.
no, it has no gun violence.
Right.
And I believe that this weapon was fashioned in some form. I'm
made
not
by
exact-
the attacker, I think. Yeah.
Yes.
It was.
Yeah. And so it wasn't like a gun that he purchased legally.
Right.
It was fashioned because there is very little violence in Japan.
And they're very strict about the
They're-
laws, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, like I was listening to somebody, and I don't remember who it was, saying that unless you're like Yakuza, it's very difficult, which is their mafia. It's very difficult to find a gun. Their gun crime, or the people who own guns, it's 0.3% out of every 100.
Mhm.
Meanwhile, here it's 120 and a half out of 100. That's how many guns there are per 100 people. So, like, nobody owns a gun in Japan.
Yeah.
What I'm saying is there are more guns than people in this
Oh, no,
country.
yeah, absolutely.
I did. Okay. Since we are talking about guns, we're doing a hard left turn from what Wheeler just said. We were keeping it pretty light, but to be serious for a moment, since we are talking about this, we talked about the Highland Park shooter and how there were signs that he was very troubled and had ill intent and violent intentions. Well, there was another potential mass shooting that might have taken place in Richmond, Virginia, and a concerned citizen overheard a conversation that indicated that the mass shooter that this guy was planning a mass shooting for July 4th. So this concerned citizen heard this conversation, overheard it, called the police. The authorities began an investigation, and they found evidence, quote, in plain view that corroborated the tipster's account that this man was indeed, seemingly was planning a mass shooting. The authorities seized 2 assault rifles, a handgun, and 223 rounds of ammunition. And we talk so much about the community role, you know, mothers, fathers, coaches, teachers, neighbors, friends, peers, playing a role in keeping each other safe. And that is, if you hear something, see something that does seem very off or
see something, say
concerning,
something, huh?
Yeah, say it.
I agree. The problem with relying on that is so many of these shooters live most of their life online.
Well,
like they're not out there
yeah.
like talking in public about, hey, guess what? I got my second gun. I'm ready to go. Like it's not happening that common. And we had a lot of the real life warning signs with the Highland Park shooter.
Mhm.
You know, the police called to the house twice for him. Once for a suicide attempt, another time saying, I want to kill everyone.
Yep.
I think talking about his family,
His
but
family,
still.
and seized knives and swords.
And then months later, I mean, seriously, like 3 months later.
And then first of all,
dad signs the consent
Right.
for him to go purchase a weapon. I mean, like, so there were clearly visible signs. And by the way, the dad yesterday, I don't have any responsibility in any of
well,
this.
yeah, you kind of do.
I mean, you signed the consent form, and also you did that 3 months after the police were called to your house because he was threatening to kill you all.
Which, by the way, there's no chance on earth Dad did not know about that episode. And I did allow for the possibility that maybe the police were called, even if the first time he doesn't know about it. The second time, I guess, possible Dad doesn't know. But if the police were called twice about your kid within the course of about 8 months, I'm certain you know of at least one of those episodes. And like I
Honestly,
said,
if you don't, you're also culpable.
he was running for mayor that same year. You have to imagine in a community like that, it's not a huge community, a person who's running for mayor who is then in the public eye a bit would have found out from somebody, hey, did you know the police went to the house about your son? Somebody would have told him that. So I'm eliminating the possibility he didn't know, which means he did know, and then he signed off on the gun thing in December, which is completely outrageous. But the Illinois State Police said they didn't have enough. Well, I think the term they used was probable cause to for the law to prevent him from purchasing anything after the fact, which to me says, well, then maybe the law is not good enough.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe it's not strong enough.
Yeah. I think there's a lot to this because you know, as you point out, Amy, like we all do need to be alert, paying attention, but especially family members, like, and not just for your kids becoming mass shooters, but just, you know, are they potentially suicidal? Do they have problems that they're trying to hide from you?
Drug use, eating disorders.
Yeah. And all of those are really hard. I mean, the reason they exist is because it's not always obvious to spot right away.
Mm-hmm.
And you don't want to walk around suspicious of your kid all the time.
Right.
You know, you don't want to be like constantly peeking in and constantly, you don't want to spy on their interactions with friends or online. So it is a difficult line. And I think part of this too is somehow, and I don't know how you do this, but somehow getting into the conversation with younger people about paying attention to when somebody is saying something potentially dangerous, because you have a lot of kids. This has been common. I'm around young people a lot with my coaching duties, and you'll find out about something later on down the line. There'd be an incident, and then you find out about it a month and a half later when something blows up, and you're like, why didn't you say something when it happened? I didn't want to be a snitch. And these are good kids. These are kids that we're not talking about people that are like running with the wrong crowd and all that, but there's already, even at 13, 14, 15 years old, this hesitancy to say anything about anybody because it'll hurt your reputation. And the fact that that is considered a negative thing when you might just be looking out for the well-being. How many times have we heard, yeah, that kid, boy, he didn't like the crowd, or he was always by himself, or whatever. It's a hard thing to get over because you don't want constantly, you know, hey, Tommy's doing this. Like, I mean, it's hard to tell what's real and what's not sometimes. But I'll tell you though, more often than not, a kid's friends know more about what they're going through and what they might be thinking than their parents do.
Yeah, I think, well, it depends on the situation, but I can see that. And I think that's why it's so important for people to talk, right? Families to talk, parents to talk. Ask your kids questions, not like you said, where you're indicting them. You're just asking them questions and you're talking, because once you establish those habits, it will also be easier for you to tell if the kids' habits change. If they start acting different, they're maybe a bit more reserved. And then once you notice that there's a significant change, I think then you absolutely go, okay, you know what? I'm going to talk to their friends or look at their social media accounts. I mean, every parent has that right. I mean, my goodness, they're living under your household. But having constant conversations is so important because it does help you just stay in tune. Even if they're not telling you everything, you would notice when there's a change, right? And that
you would hope.
You would hope. Yeah, that could be indicative.
But sometimes
of a lot
there's
of things.
also a natural change. Like some people just change as they get older. You know,
and it's not anything the parents have done.
Right.
That does just happen.
It can be. I mean, it can be the parents, but it can also be outside influences. I mean, it can be a lot of things. And sometimes personalities change, sometimes change for the better. I mean, it's not always a bad change.
Right.
Sometimes a kid just grows up, you know, not overnight, but over a period of time, you can become much more mature for whatever reason. Maybe you learned a lesson. Maybe you heard something that impacted you. Maybe you just realized what you wanted as opposed to being in doubt about something. And it's important to pay attention and notice those changes. But there's no foolproof way of being able to do this. If there were, we would have a lot fewer problems.
Yeah.
But it can't hurt to be on that side of being there, being interactive, paying attention. And yeah, you know what? If you're annoying to the kid once in a while, I annoy my kid. I've annoyed my kid since she was little. Oh, well.
Yeah, and this is no, I get that. And this is such an outrageous case, though. Like this Highland Park case, there are so many times where a kid changes, is depressed, but nothing bad ever happens.
Right,
and sometimes you don't know little detail. Even if you try, you don't know little details about your kid's life. I'm sure that that's true. But at bare minimum, let's not help a kid get a weapon when you know he's either suicidal or homicidal,
or has
because
been
he's
those
talking
things
about
even
both of
recently,
those.
right?
Well,
We're talking about within the same 8-month span.
Yes.
And well,
this is like automatically, it's stupid. I can't believe that even happened.
Right. And just going back to, like we were saying, you want to stay in tune with your kids because it may be just that they're being bullied or there's an eating disorder or drugs, something like that, which we all want to pay attention to. But when we're looking at these mass shooters that are almost always young men, right, and they have an online trail, I think there's a few reasons why we're seeing this just continuing to increase. But one is we have become more isolated as a society as we've become more online, right? Even good kids, they're just like, a lot of friends are online, they're spending time in front of screens. We're just more isolated as a society. And these mass shooters tend to always be isolated or social outcasts in some way. And then there is the mass shootings. Every time there's a mass shooting, there's a lower threshold for the next one. And Malcolm Gladwell wrote a piece in the New Yorker, which looks at the work of Mark Granovetter, a famous Stanford researcher. And basically the way they describe it as the mass shootings are a slow motion riot, in the sense that if it takes a lot for that first person to throw a brick through a window, but it takes a lower threshold for the second person to join in, and even lower for the fifth person to join in. And we're continuing to lower that threshold. So we have to adapt and change our laws to figure out how to help stop it.
Different way. God knows it ain't his. It sure ain't no surprise.
2 ways to listen to KMOX in your car. 98.7 in the city, 1120 a.m. further out. The voice of St. Louis, KMOX.
So I have a new client to tell you guys about, Doctors Birdie and Malhotra from Ophthalmology Associates. You've heard about them for years. Charlie Brennan, Tom Ackerman, Trish Gazelle, so many personalities have gone to see these doctors. I recently went myself. I have a very slight prescription, but I have something called narrow angle glaucoma in my family, so I have to be really careful about that. I had the best exam I've ever had from the most courteous professional people I've ever dealt with. Put aside all the puffery, put aside all of my salesmanship. These are the best eye doctors in town. They're so professional, so competent. Their staff are so friendly. Everything about them, whether it's a LASIK procedure or it's simply eyeglasses or sunglasses, whatever it is, these are the guys. 314-966-5000. That's 314-966-5000, or online at youridoc.com for Doctors Birdie and Malhotra at Ophthalmology Associates.
Tune in this weekend for Everyday Wealth with Soledad O'Brien and Gene Chatsky, presented by Edelman Financial Engines. Your hosts and their guests will explore how our financial decisions shape our everyday lives. For airtimes, visit everydaywealth.com.
Hi, Mark Goldstein here for Edwards Carpet. With prices on everything going up fast, now is the time to buy. Edwards Carpet's having our 4th of July sale now through July 10th, and you'll pay no tax. Get 50-ounce carpets guaranteed for 15 and 20 years, completely installed with pad for only $449 to $499 a square foot, and we move the furniture and pull up your old carpet free. 12 months interest-free financing, and you'll pay no tax. Edwards Carpet, Ellisville, De Pere, and St. Charles.
Come on down to Edwards Carpet Stores.
In this market, you'll find Fisher Investments is different than other money managers.
Different how? Aren't we all just looking for the hottest stocks?
Nope. We use diversified strategies to position our clients' portfolios for their long-term goals.
You don't just provide cookie-cutter portfolios?
No, we tailor our clients' portfolios to their goals and needs.
But you still sell investments that generate high commissions for you, right?
No, we don't sell commission-based products. We're a fiduciary, the highest standard of care for a financial advisor. It means we're obligated to act in our clients' best interest.
So when do you make more money? Only when your clients make more money?
Yep, we have one transparent management fee structured, so we do better when our clients do better.
Sounds like you really look out for your clients.
We do, because our priority is helping them achieve a comfortable retirement. That might be why most of our clients come from other money managers. Visit FisherInvestments.com to find out why investors like you switch to us. Fisher Investments. Clearly, different money management.
Investments in securities involve the risk of loss.
What's more important than profit? At Easter Fence Deck and Renovations, our family name is, you, our customers and friends are. A job well done and doing what's right is more important than profit. Hi, I'm Chuck Easter. In business for over 60 years, we've not lost sight of the fact that a good name is more desirable than great riches. When the Easter name is on your fence, deck, or sunroom, you know it was done right with integrity, pride, and great care. Our focus is on you, not our bottom line. Call 314-892-8500 or easterfence.com.
Hey guys, Glover here for my friends at ThrottleNet. These are the genius IT guys I've been representing for years and years now. We are number one all the time. Best in customer service from Small Business Monthly. Best in cybersecurity, again, Small Business Monthly. We have an average response time. I love this statistic. The average response time in St. Louis in 2020 by IT companies. You have a problem, you reach out to them, hey, I'm all shut down, help me, was 3 hours. If you got back within 3 hours, you were cool. Ours was 1 minute, 57 seconds, and the guys were very unhappy with that. It takes less than 2 minutes for us to address your problems. Here's a huge thing. We are now offering $500,000 in ransom protection to everyone who uses us. This is part of the deal. You don't pay extra for it. So if you happen to be hit, and you have to pay, we're going to pay it up to $500,000. Now, this shows you how confident we are because no one under our protection has ever had to pay. Go to throttlenet.com/DGS.
Connect with KMOX on air, online, 1120 AM, 98.7 FM, KMOX.com.
Right, back in on the show. It's 12:20. We're going to talk a little Cardinals baseball at the bottom of the hour. We'll talk to Mike Claiborne coming up at 1 o'clock. Now, we talked earlier. I went on my little rant earlier about, campaign ads and campaign promises and stump speeches and all that. And the rant was simply, don't tell me what you want to do, because what is easy, right? Like anybody can say what they want to do. I want to be a movie star. All right. How? How are you going to do that? How is the bigger question? And then we have candidates who, I'm
don't
not
even know the what?
I'm not even sure. Right. Yeah. I'm not even sure. Like when you ask a basic question, there just isn't an answer to it. And there's been a lot of buzz here in for months, but it's kind of picking up about the race in Georgia that involves former football player Herschel Walker, who is, he was a legendary high school athlete, legendary college athlete, NFL player. He was an Olympian. He was on the U.S. bobsled team in 1992. And I think generally speaking, Herschel Walker has always been very well liked.
So that's what I was going to ask you, because before all the political stuff, if you asked me or said the name Herschel Walker, I would say generally celebrated.
Yes. I and when you'd hear him talk, he's always come across as a nice guy. This was not a person that was disliked in any way, shape, or form. And he actually, still has a hell of a following in the state of Georgia, which is certainly why, probably the primary reason why he was kind of backed to be in this race. And part of the problem that we're seeing now is, as he got older, we found out more about things. There have been some things in his business dealings that had a lot of people asking questions. He ran like a chicken business, like a chicken farming business, and there were some disputes there and claims about things not being on the up and up there. But more importantly now, it's been about just the sheer, complete, and total lack of substance when he talks about anything.
Yeah.
And I know a lot of people in the sport. Herschel Walker has not always been viewed as a dumb guy. Like the view of him when he was a player right after, it wasn't, wow, what an idiot this guy is. It's just kind of a normal person. It was like viewed as, but we all know that with football, over time, not everybody's the same, but a lot of players suffer brain damage. It ends up being called CTE. And it's long-term brain damage from the constant shaking of your brain inside your skull. And there are a lot of people that are observing Herschel Walker and saying he's not what he used to be mentally. He's not that old. He's 60, but he's not what he used to be mentally. And you can't detect CTE while you're alive. Right. It's not until after you pass away that you can study the brain and see that it's there. But there seem to be some cognitive problems with him. And I think, I don't want it to be mistaken as intelligence. I don't think it's an intelligence issue. It seems to be a cognitive issue. But when you see his answers to questions, they're like nonsense.
He's not coherent.
And yet, he's running for a really important office. Why?
I don't have an answer for why.
Well, I'll
but
read this.
I think our bar is very low. Honestly, I
Yes.
do.
Well, it's because he's got name recognition.
Yeah.
And
he's
there
generally
was
popular. Right.
Yeah, and I think the party thought that he can get elected because of that.
So Jay Nordlinger is an editor. He's the senior editor at the National Review and the New Criterion, right? So
He's a total liberal.
yeah, he's a raging liberal. No, here we have the senior editor at the National Review, and he this was his take on Herschel Walker, and I just thought this was really important. He said, the case of Herschel Walker has infuriated me because the guy is clearly not playing with a full deck, and the U.S. Senate is an important body, and the Republican Party and the Republican media have pretended that the guy is within normal parameters. I don't expect every senator to be a Daniel Webster or a Henry Clay or even a Hubert Humphrey or a Howard Baker, but there ought to be a minimum amount of respect for that body. And the nomination of Herschel Walker, toward whom I harbor zero ill will, is insulting. Look up his statements on COVID-19 or on evolution, say. For a major party to put him forward for the U.S. Senate is just disgraceful. It spits in the face of our system. It is LOL, nothing matters, end of the Republic stuff. Please stop it. This is from the senior editor of the National Review. I feel like he speaks for many Republicans and pretty much all the true conservatives. However, the loudest Republicans and the most prominent Republicans, from Kevin McCarthy being the most prominent to a Marjorie Taylor Greene being one of the loudest, they're not following this lead. I'm shocked. I don't know what has happened to the Republican Party.
It goes back to the thing that I say a lot. We have to have serious people because we have some real problems. This country clearly has issues, and those issues don't get solved with unserious people. And when you have a person who's going to be, if he wins, in a prominent political position within this country, he's a non-serious person. Now, that doesn't mean that 20 years ago, and we can only allege that he has brain damage. We don't know that for sure.
May not, but there are people that have known him for a while that are
who
saying
say
he's
he's not
different.
the same. You can't allow somebody like that to have the option or the possibility of running and winning. And if the party was serious about being a serious party to help solve real, actual problems, they wouldn't even put this guy forward.
Right. So after the Texas shooting, he was at a public event and somebody came and asked him about the shooting and gun control. And his answer was, what I like to do is see it and everything and stuff and walked away. What I like to do is see it and everything and stuff and then walked away. When he was asked about how he would fix school shootings, he said, people see that it's a person wielding that weapon, Cain killed Abel. And that's the problem we have. And I said, what we need to do is look into how we can stop those things. You talk about doing a disinformation. This is a direct quote. I'm not saying it to make it sound worse. What about getting a department that can look at young men, that's looking at women, that's looking at their social media? What about doing that? Looking into things like that, and we can stop that way. None of that has anything to do with stopping school shootings. It's just nonsense.
Yeah, it's not coherent.
And that's why people have an issue with it. It's not his policy. I'm sorry, I hit the wrong button. It's not his, it's not necessarily where he's coming from politically. It's that he doesn't even process the answers.
Well, the good news, Kevin, is nonsense is electable now.
The cult of personality. I know your anger. I know your dreams.
Summer weather in St. Louis.
Potentially record-breaking temperatures.
Dangerous heat wave lasting through much of this week. When it comes to hot weather, we say no sweat.
Record-breaking temperatures today, and oh yes, humidity too.
Stay up to date with the latest forecast, mornings and afternoons.
Evening temperatures will be in the 90s.
And when severe weather hits, the King of MOX Air Comfort Heating and Cooling Storm Center has it covered. Summer weather forecasts. On air, online, 98.7 FM, 1120 AM, KingofMOX.com.
Hydrate, hydrate, hydrate.
Hi there, it's John Hancock for First Mid Bank and Trust. They're a community-focused organization. They put so much money back into the communities where they serve. They've been around for 157 years. If you're looking for a bank, Check them out. They got 19 locations here in the greater St. Louis area. Plenty of small business professionals to work with. They got insurance experts. Whether you're saving for your first home, paying off debt, or planning for retirement, First Mid Bank is the place for you. Go check them out online, firstmid.com. You'll be glad you did.
Did you get a call or message that mentioned Social Security that made you feel threatened or scared? That is not the Social Security Administration. Social Security will not threaten you, press you for personal information, or demand instant payment. Social Security does not accept payments by gift card, prepaid debit card, internet currency, or by mailing cash. Criminals use these forms of payment because they are hard to trace. Don't fall for it. Hang up, ignore them. Report this criminal activity to oig.ssa.gov.
Produced at U.S. taxpayer expense.
It's partly cloudy and 89 degrees downtown at the Arch. Bo Rothwell, the Creve Coeur man convicted of killing his pregnant wife, has been sentenced to life in prison without parole. Rothwell admitted to hitting his wife, Jennifer, in the head with a mallet in 2019. As its offense in Ukraine continues, Russia is getting even tougher on its own critics, as CBS's Elaine Cobb tells us.
A Moscow city councilor who denounced Putin's invasion of Ukraine has been sentenced to 7 years in jail. 60-year-old Alexei Gorinov is the first elected member of the opposition to be sent to prison for criticizing the military campaign.
A new poll from the Associated Press shows an upheaval in priorities just months ahead of the critical midterm elections. Concerns about inflation and personal finances have surged while COVID has evaporated as a top issue for Americans. Many U.S. adults also prioritize other issues, including abortion, women's rights, and gun policy. In a troubling sign for both parties, the poll finds many Americans say they think neither side of the aisle is better at focusing on the issues important to them or getting things done. There's debris on 70 West to 270, a stall 364 West past Bennington Place on the right shoulder, stall 55 North past Bayless on the right shoulder. Debris on 6440 going east at Boone's Crossing has the two left lanes closed. And the forecast is sponsored by Reinhold Flooring. Heat advisory is in effect until 8 p.m. Hot and humid today with a high of 93. Real feel temperatures topping 100 at times. Thunderstorm in spots late in the day into the evening. Overnight low 72. Tomorrow's high 85. Currently, it's partly cloudy and 89. Feels like 97 downtown at the Arch. I'm Michael Calhoun, KMOX News.
Driven by the Bomarito Automotive Group, the voice of St. Louis, KMOX.
Hey guys, Glover here from my friends at Zero Res. Well, if you have been waiting for the lowest price of the year, this is it so far. Zero Res is offering a 3-room DGS special starting at just $119. That's 3 rooms pre-treated in Zero Res Clean, which is a 100% guaranteed clean at just $119. Also, $75 off your air duct cleaning. When it comes to your home, stains in your carpets or upholstery can really put a damper on things. With tough stains, it can be easy to think that you need harsh chemicals or detergents to get them out. But I've learned that these detergents always leave behind a soapy residue, which ends up attracting more dirt to the areas. This is why we're called Zero Res, zero residue. That's why I only trust Zero Res to get out tough stains and provide my regular carpet cleaning, which they have within the past couple weeks. Call 314-474-2020 or go to ZeroResSTL.com to book your appointment. That's 314-474-2020.
KMOX is Cardinals Radio.
It's the Cards and Phillies tonight. Ameren pregame show 6:20. First pitch 7:15 on KMOX and streaming on KMOX.com.
The pitch by Ueno. Albert is hit high and deep. A home run for Harrison Bader. Yadier Molina has homered. Double play. It's a big fly for Albert Pujols. A home run in the first inning for Goldie.
This is the Redbirds Report.
All right, time to talk a little ball. Cardinals and the Phillies going at it tonight. Rematch of a game that happened in Philadelphia on the road trip. Adam Wainwright and Zach Wheeler. No relation, by the way. Not my cousin or anything.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
Yeah.
I was like, no, Adam Wainwright and Zach Wheeler
yeah.
are not related to each other.
No,
What do you mean?
Dummy.
Oh, you?
The Wheeler guy.
Yeah, I like that Wheeler guy.
That's why I wish I could throw 100 like he does.
Yeah, Zach Wheeler is actually my favorite Wheeler.
Yeah, he's probably the best of us.
Amy's having a tough
Amy's
time.
allergic to baseball. As soon as we start talking baseball, she's back there sneezing.
Ron threw my chair in the corner.
Well, he
Now
actually
if
threw
No,
it
I didn't.
outside the studio.
It's out there.
Oh, it's outside the studio. So now
Yeah.
I gotta get a different chair. My computer went off.
Yeah, but you were sneezing. That
Then
was
she
it.
sneezed?
Yeah.
I thought we came to an agreement before we get back to the Cardinals. Did we not come to an agreement yesterday that if you were sick, you're staying home?
Yeah, but
here's Amy in here sneezing up a storm.
I sneezed one time.
One time, now 5 more are coming.
Oh, geez, Ranj.
Bringing her germs and
Take
whatnot.
Take the loss.
Or about to get COVID from her. That's a huge loss. Amy brought COVID into the studio.
Oh my gosh!
We all lose on
You
that one,
threw
Kevin.
my chair out in the newsroom.
Yeah, you did. Way to go.
I gently rolled it out there.
Last night was something, though. It was not all good. Like, the result ended up being good. You get a 3-2 win on the road. You snap a losing streak. You got a pretty decent outing from Matthew Liberatore. Not great, though, because it was only 4 innings. And here's the worry. You had to use your whole bullpen last night.
Yeah.
I don't know that any of these guys are available tonight. Maybe Gallegos would be because he only threw 18 pitches. I guess Fernandez would be, but probably Helsley, Hicks. They're not available tonight because they both threw 2 innings plus yesterday. But you needed the win. You had to sell out. It was extra innings. Dylan Carlson made an amazing catch in center field to save the game. So you get a really important win. Important in the sense that you just snapped the losing streak. But holy moly, man. They struck out 19 times yesterday. Cardinals did 19 times. That's a lot. Now, I will say, please, if you're listening, this is in no way an excuse. There are no excuses in sports. You either get the job done or you don't. There are explanations, however, as to why something happened. And,
sorry.
I'm
going to use that from now on. Listen, guys, this is not an excuse.
It's an explanation.
It's an explanation.
You guys get the difference, right?
Listen, when I was doing post-game shows, I said that all the time.
You do because
all the time.
Because
not an excuse.
Right, because an excuse is saying it's okay or don't get mad about it. And an explanation is you can be mad about it. This is just it. This is the reality. And this is, by the way, also something we talked about the other day, partly the concern for later in the year if you're going to be in the playoffs.
Mm-hmm.
You're facing a lot of good pitching right now. But if good pitching is going to do that to you, that's going to make a lot of people really nervous.
Because that's what you face in the playoffs.
That's right. So, when Spencer Strider strikes out 12 guys in 6 innings, and obviously you just faced Alcantara, you faced Zach Wheeler, and you got him again tonight. You Max Fried. You faced a lot of good pitching lately, but the point is you need to be better than what you've been. You don't need to beat up on those guys, but you need to be better than you've been and be able to win more of those games. And moving forward, of course, I think the bigger concern to me, and we've talked about this, Ron, is more the starting rotation side of it. And while it was nice to see Liberatore go 4 shutout innings, you'd like that to be 6 innings, even if you're giving up a run or 2. But you can't really play around with it right now when you're trying to break a losing streak. So they're in a spot this year that is not unlike where they were at this time last year in that they're struggling. They're better record-wise than they were at this time last year, but they're in a similar spot where you're trying to break out of a funk, and you don't want to have to rely on a 17-game winning streak because it's not happening again.
No, we're talking about historic kinds of streaks, and you can't really think that's going to happen every time. What you also need to avoid, obviously, we've as you've mentioned, discussed the starting rotation, having to go deeper more frequently. Also can't really afford 11-inning games. Now, I know this is just a one-off here, but extra innings, that forces you to throw maybe 2 or 3 guys you weren't planning on throwing. You have to avoid that as much as possible. And one thing that can help you out is an offense, and they have not been hitting over about the last 5 games now. It's been very difficult to score runs for them. And I guess for me, there's a little bit of concern, and I don't know how you feel, Kevin, but there is some concern about the way they've performed in this recent stretch against teams that are pretty good.
Yeah.
That you got to take care of business against the bad teams. That's
number one.
That's absolutely number one. But you want to have a pretty good showing against teams that are going to be playoff teams or are on the verge of being playoff teams.
Yeah.
So when you're playing the likes of the Braves and the Phillies, you want to see a little bit more.
The rule of thumb is basically play 500 against winning teams and then beat up on the other teams. And that's not too far from what most good teams are. Now, you get teams that are at the level of the Yankees, for example. They're beating the crap out of everybody. Yeah. But that's unusual. That's not a normal thing. So now we're looking at a homestand. And by the way, on this date last year, the Cardinals were 43-45, and this year they are 45-40. So instead of 2 games under, you're 5 games over. It's better than where you were. Like I said, you're in a better place today than you were on this date a year ago. But you have a similar concern with what are we going to get out of our pitching 3 of the 5 spots in the rotation as you go through it. And then the concern is, does the bullpen wear out? And we saw last year that in some cases, guys in the bullpen did end up wearing out. And that's what you're going to want to avoid this year. The team knows it. I mean, they've talked about it. The question will end up ultimately being, what do they end up doing about it? Do they rely on Flaherty coming back or hope that he's coming back? And Steven Matz will be back, I think, soon. He might make one more rehab start and then come back. Or is this the time when they're motivated to say, all right, we're going to do something a little more significant this year?
Okay, this is changing the topic completely. But I want to get your personal opinion on this. We talk about the manager's job. Okay. But then you have all the coaches, like the pitching coach and the hitting coach and the base running coach. In your opinion, which of the coaches has the most impact on the players / game on a day-to-day basis?
I'd say pitching coach. If
are you talking about baseball only? Or are you talking sports?
Baseball.
Oh, no, baseball.
I think she's talking, yeah.
No, because like pitching coach, hitting coach, you're talking about base running, all of that. Because so often we know when hitters go through slumps, like, oh, it's the pitching coach, or excuse me, the hitting coach. But which coach has the biggest impact?
I would say it's the pitching coach. And the reason I would say it is because when the act of pitching is more deliberate, where being a hitter, you want to have a game plan, but you're also at the mercy of what's being thrown to you. You can't dictate that stuff, but at least if you're pitching, you start the play and you can decide how you're going to do it. I would think that's, but I still don't think it's everything, but I would think the pitching coach has a little bit more influence than the others.
Boy, it's a hard question for me because I'm not sure that any of them are having any specific special influence day to day. It's the body of work. It's like, it's what you build from the beginning of spring training all the way up. Are you, when it comes to philosophy and how you're going to attack hitters and what you're going to be working on individually.
Yeah.
So it's more of a longer term thing, but I think just logically speaking, it's either the pitching coach or it's whoever works with the infielders, outfielders, the defensive coaches, because those are the controllable things. Right? A pitcher is in control. He throws it when he wants to.
Yep.
He's deciding what pitch to throw, or at least he's following the guidance of the catcher who's doing it. But you're the initiator of the action.
Yep.
Defensively, you're playing positions where you're expected to make the play 98% of the time. A ground ball, 98, 99% of the time, you're expected to make the play if you get your hands on it. So the odds are you're going to succeed. These are things you can control. Hitting is so uncontrolled. It's the ultimate reactionary thing. And it's not just reacting like, say, a goalie in hockey. In goalie in hockey, you just got to get some part of your body in the way of the puck. You got to put about a 2 or 3 inch spot on your bat in the center of the baseball to do any real damage as a hitter. So it's a difficult thing to do. There's a reason why you fail as much as you do as a hitter. And while those guys have an impact, their impact is much more just kind of as a psychologist as much as it is anything else.
A lot of people, to Amy's question, I think the general public, like a typical fan, sees the hitting coach the same way an offensive coordinator in football is viewed. Like you're the
but I think an offensive coordinator has a much bigger impact.
That's what I'm saying.
That's
what I'm saying is that a hitting coach is not an offensive coordinator. So
remember when everybody was mad at Mabry for like
it's every hitting coach right now. It's Jeff Albert. It was Mabry before that. I don't remember anybody being too mad at Mark McGwire while he was the hitting coach. They were mad about the hire initially.
You can't because he'll squish you.
But also, I mean, you weren't mad at him because you had Albert Pujols in his prime.
Oh, yeah, that too.
And you had Lance Berkman, and you had David Freese, and you had prime Yadier Molina, and you had Alan Craig. I mean, like, you had a lot of great hitters, and that's kind of what makes a good hitting coach.
I used to say the same thing about Rudy Jaramillo, who was the hitting coach of the Texas Rangers years ago, maybe about 10 years
ago.
And
then he went to the Cubs.
Yeah, he had a prolific offense, and people were like, be like Rudy
Go
Jaramillo.
Get Rudy.
Well, he had Adrian Beltre and Michael Young
and Juan Gonzalez
and Ian Kinsler, like some really good hitters. It wasn't like it's just completely different. But I do think the average person kind of sees it as like a hitting coach is calling plays. Yeah, he's telling it's not how it really works.
I've also noticed this, like, it's so easy to take for granted that that ball players know what to do in any given scenario, and they're
Some
running
don't.
they're running the bases. All of that is fine. When I notice teams that have bad base running, I'm like, what in the world is going on? Like, that looked like nobody knew what they were supposed to do. That really stands out in any given ball game.
Yeah, and that's not at the big league level. That's not usually coaching.
Nope.
It's
That's
just
usually
players not knowing.
a lot of times it's a younger team, or it's that particular player or a couple of players that make it look bad. I will say this though: when the Cardinals moved on from Mike Matheny to Mike Schilt, base running immediately improved. And some of it has to do with how much time you spend on that and how much time you practice it, in particular in spring training. So you send that, but you also have to have people that are capable of doing the things that you're asking them to do.
Right.
It's funny. A bunch of buddies and I, this is off topic slightly, but it makes the same point. They send a video of Byron Scott talking about how analytics is ruining the NBA, and they're telling everybody start shooting more threes, and you're like, well, we didn't have players that could make 3-pointers, so it was stupid. Well, right. You can't ask people to do things that you're not training them to do, or that they're not capable of doing. So if you want a guy to steal a lot of bases, he can't be Yachty.
Mm-hmm.
You can't say, all right, Yachty, we're going to steal 20 bags this year. It's not going to work. It's a terrible idea. But there are things you can train and work on. And there's a reason why the Cardinals have been better base running and defense over the last two managers than they were before, because it's the way that it's emphasized. It's the time. Honestly, it's the time spent on those things.
Couple of things, though, just to point out from last night. We were talking about the Packy Naughton thing where he was told by Ali Marmol, well, he couldn't. That's exactly what we're talking about, the inning of perfect work last night.
Right. So it was 2 days ago where he said to Packy Naughton, he's like, listen, if you get us this inning, because by doing it, you're burning yourself for the next couple of days.
Yes.
We're not going to send you down. We're going to keep you here just so you know that, and you don't have to pitch with that pressure in your mind. And then, of course, he gets the save last night. So that was pretty cool.
And also Jordan Hicks with the hardest pitch thrown of the season.
Yeah.
103.8 miles an hour. That's of everybody in baseball.
All MLB.
Yeah. And when you're pitching in relief, you can do that because you can just let it rip. He was pitching at only 98, 99 as a starter, but you put him out there for an inning or two, and it's 103, almost 104. Pretty ridiculous.
Talk to Claibs later about it.
Yeah, we'll do that in about 15 minutes.
I'm Nick Schroeder. The woke left is trying to destroy America by taking away our rights, defunding the police, and indoctrinating our children into socialists. This is not the America our founding fathers envisioned. I'm fighting them, and with your help, we can take America back. I backed the blue 100% and fought to give police the tools they need to keep our families safe. I helped pass the Second Amendment Preservation Act to ensure Joe Biden and his cronies can't take guns away from law-abiding citizens. And last year, I opposed raising the gas tax.
Nick Schroer sponsored Missouri's pro-life trigger law, ensuring we would be the first state in the country to ban abortions after Roe v. Wade was overturned. He sponsored the Parents' Bill of Rights, which would ban radical ideologies like critical race theory in our schools. And as our state senator, Nick Schroer will protect girls' sports from boys who want to pretend to be girls. Nick Schroer, an American First conservative, paid for by friends of Nick Schroer.
Classic 107.3 and 96.3 HD2 St. Louis is seeking a full-time morning host. Do you have a passion for classical music and the arts? Are you an excellent broadcaster with strong social media skills? Do you like conducting interviews, making public appearances, and have a vast knowledge of classical music? Then this could be what you're looking for. For more information or to apply, visit classic1073.org/careers or email careers@classic1073.org.
Nobody's more proud of what Diamonds Direct offers than our own staff.
Our standards are the highest I've ever seen in the business, and I've been in this industry my entire life.
Not only do we have the most competitive pricing in the industry, but the whole package that you get with it is incomparable.
One thing that always surprises clients is how much further their budget will go with Diamonds Direct.
But way beyond value, what we're most proud of is our total commitment to each and every customer.
We go above and beyond for our customers so that they feel valued and they know that they're valued. We are really focusing on not making a sale that day. We want to make a friend forever.
It doesn't matter what size diamond that you're looking for. We're going to take care of you, and we're going to make you feel fabulous.
The philosophy to take care of the customer is just amazing.
When clients come in, I think what they can feel is our passion.
The electricity that you get in here, everybody's happy. It's such a friendly environment.
Diamonds Direct. And you can feel that energy and that happiness every time you step into our showroom.
Come see and feel the difference. Your love, our passion. Get directions and store hours at diamondsdirect.com.
Learn to swim this summer and stay cool with Swim On Foundation through group and private lessons. Schedule today. For information, go to swimonfoundation.org.
The show, sponsored by Straight Realty, your St. Louis area experts. Why pay more than 314-441-4444. Amy, Chris, and Kevin.
The greatest radio talk show host ever.
Now, more of the show.
All right, Chris Ranji, Amy Mark Scores, Kevin Wheeler with you on the show. I love this next subject because it's just, first of all, it's just so true. Was this your story, Ron? Or was it Amy's? You want to set it up? Or you want me to do it?
Have you seen Avatar?
I have seen Avatar, not the new one though.
Right. Well, I don't think it's out yet.
Oh, it's not out.
Oh.
No, it's not out yet. Have you seen Avatar, Amy?
No, but I know what it is.
It's.
We're gonna have this conversation. Amy, have you seen this movie? No,
but I know what it is.
Have you seen this TV show? No.
I've read stories about it.
I've read the book.
I read the review in the New Yorker and the Atlantic.
What does David French have to say about Avatar? Let's find out.
You know, he is a big movie buff. He's
Yeah.
always giving opinions on different movies. Okay, Ron, hurry up, tell your story before everyone gets bored.
No, you'll just be you bored. Everybody else will be intrigued.
Yeah, because Amy sucks.
We all watch movies.
So, James Cameron directed the first one. He directed Titanic.
Avatar,
Or
he did like Terminator movies.
Yeah, Terminator, right? Anyway, so the new one's got to come out. It's Way of the Water or something. Yeah, that's it. Avatar, The Way of the Water.
Mm-hmm.
He says it's going to be long. And he's telling people this is going to be a long movie.
Yep.
But he's also essentially telling people, quit crying about it. You know how we used to complain about a movie that was 3 hours? Like Dances with Wolves is what, 3.5 hours or something?
The Right Stuff had an intermission.
Yes.
We didn't used to complain. We
Schindler's
still
List had
complain.
an intermission too, if I remember right.
Yeah.
My
And
Fair Lady, JFK.
JFK has an intermission. I mean, you used to have to change discs. If you were watching on DVD, you'd have to take the one disc out and put in the second one, which that's a long ass movie if you're talking about removing discs. But he says this one's going to be long, and quit crying about it. And I'm paraphrasing for him, but his premise is you sit at home and you will watch 9 straight hours of Stranger Things.
Mm-hmm.
You will watch Ozark for 6 straight hours.
We will binge.
But you are going
Neighborhood Wars.
You're going to complain about a movie that pushes 3 hours. And you know what? He's right. When is the last time? And I do a lot of binge watching too, which, by the way, not really healthy. But I do it, and a lot of Americans do it now. A lot of people around the world, I'm assuming, do it. What is the last time that you have complained about the length of a movie? I feel like I am now used to sitting down and watching something for several hours.
I don't even care if it's good.
Yeah,
like
I'm the same way.
It's the same people complain about the length of a sporting event. Who cares if it's a good game?
What's interesting is, okay, sporting events are different. You're right, because I can watch multiple overtimes in playoff hockey and the time flies by. But I don't know why. It's so true, though. Do you want to watch a 3-hour movie? Heck no. Do you want to watch 9 hours of something split into 27 segments? Yes. Or 27-minute segments. Let's go. I don't know why. I think it is, and this might be the whole thing, you feel stuck. In a movie, there aren't any breaks. I know you could stop the movie, but there aren't any breaks.
There's a pause button.
I know, but it's not the same as having every 27 minutes, every 35 minutes, the show's over, and you're like, oh, I could do one more.
I'll go get a snack. Yeah, that's why I do that too.
I'll do one more.
What time is it?
Yeah.
11:30?
Versus a movie, you're stuck.
I'm
it's
staying
like being
up
on
till
a plane.
2.
Well, here's what Cameron said about it. He says, I can almost write this part of the review after he's warned people it's going to be a long movie. And he says, the agonizingly long 3-hour movie, it's like, give me a blinking break. I've watched my kids sit and do
Give me a
blinking.
blinkety blink.
I've watched my kids sit and do 5 one-hour episodes in a row. And then he says, here's the big social paradigm shift that has to happen. It's okay to get up and go pee.
Aw.
So he's...
It would also be nice, though, if you're going to make 3-hour movies, maybe build in a little...
pee time?
Little break?
Yeah, so then what do you do?
Because I don't want to miss something good. Like, I'm usually pretty fast. Like, if I'm at the theater and it's time, like, all right, I got to go. I'm, like, back in a minute and a half, 2 minutes. Like, it's pretty quick, but... I feel like I'm always worried I'm going to miss something.
So instead of having an actual intermission where the movie stops, you could just be like, here's scenery for the next 3 minutes. Here's the Avatar scenery of the planet with a big tree.
It is pretty cool to look at.
Yeah. So this is the pee break. If you have to go, go now.
And it just comes up.
And we'll be back.
Potty break.
And then when it's time to watch the movie again, it says, and we're back.
But them's the breaks.
The pee breaks. Is that what he was talking about? You think Bojo was talking about the...
I'm not calling him Bojo or Boris
I
anymore.
love Bojo.
He is DeFiffle.
I wish I had known that everybody was calling him Bojo in England.
Alexander Boris
DeFiffle.
DeFiffle.
Johnson.
I like let's call him DeFeff.
I mean, he's kind of a doofus, but there's something endearing about him.
It's his
No,
hair.
there's not.
It's not his policies or anything. He just I don't know. I think it is the hair.
What is it though? Like, if you want to create, like, if the new Avatar movie stinks, okay, let's just say it stinks, right? But if it's good, who's not happy with more of good? Like,
I love a
one
lot
of
of
my
good.
favorite
Because
movies.
you always want to leave them wanting more.
One of my
Yeah.
favorite movies of all time is the finale of the Lord of the Rings trilogy, the Return of the King. It is an amazing movie, and it not once while I'm watching that do I ever think this needs to be shorter. It's amazingly good. It's super long. If it's good, why would you care?
Because at some point, good gets old. And what I
Not
mean
if
by
it's
is
really good.
there are some songs that, like, especially classic rock songs, 8 to 11 minutes long, that I think this song would be great if it were 3 minutes total.
There's an 11-minute song.
American Pie. Is
Really?
that the name of it? Bye bye, Miss American Pie. That song is 11
It's not
minutes.
called American Pie. It's
The Day the Music
is it
Died.
the name? The title of it is
It's
American.
called,
I thought it was
it's
something
it's
weird.
called American Pie.
Okay, if you say so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Don McLean.
Well, I know it's Don McLean. I just didn't. I thought it was had like a weird title. I'm wrong. It's okay. Time to move on.
Bob, is it
Also-
Baba O'Reilly? I always thought that was
Oh,
like
that's what I'm
I
thinking
always
of.
thought it
Yeah.
was Teenage Wasteland.
Yes, yes. It's
Yeah.
Baba O'Reilly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool. I still.
Too much good. You always
if it's-
want to leave early. You want
If
people
every
wanting
bit of
more.
it is good, it's not too long.
But Avatar, the first one, 2 hours, 42 minutes. That's like nothing now.
I can't sit very long. Shows where I'm at.
Amy's like,
Yeah,
I gotta
you're-
go run.
I gotta go.
Yeah, you're always rocking back and forth over there.
I know.
Have you ever gone to the grocery store hungry? Big mistake. Next thing you know, you're in the kitchen unloading all this stuff you didn't need, saying, "What did I do?" It's kind of like someone going into retirement without a plan. Steve All at the All Financial Group is here to help. He offers a complimentary retirement review. So instead of saying, "What did I do?" you can say, "Here's what I'm doing." Call 636-230-8824 and get more details online at yourmoneymattersstl.com.
Investment advisory services offered through All Financial Group, LLC, a registered investment advisor. Insurance and annuity products offered through Stephen All, Missouri license 8039738.
Tired of the cookie cutter feel of some new home communities? Discover the uniqueness of Lombardo Homes at Inverness. Inverness features variable setbacks throughout the neighborhood to create a park-like setting along the streets, as well as trails with pocket parks, loads of common ground, and 4 lakes. Inverness features custom homes ranging from 1,700 to over 2,500 square feet, priced from the high 300s. Tour our decorated display within Inverness, located on the north side of Fidey Road, west of Bryan Road. For more information, visit lombardohomes.com.
Home values are through the roof, with buyers paying way over asking price. You'd love to cash out your home's equity, but you're not quite ready to move, and soaring interest rates make cash out refinancing too expensive. Plus, you'll only get a fraction of your home's equity. It makes no sense. I have a smarter option, Truehold.com. Truehold will buy your home for full cash value, and here's the best part. You get to bank all the cash now and continue living in your home as long as you want. It's life-changing, and Truehold covers all property property taxes, insurance, repairs, and maintenance, too. Let's review. Truehold pays you 100% of your home's value in cash fast. Use your cash to do everything you've dreamed of. Travel, pay off debt, or buy that new right-size home on the golf course. Call 855-300-9993 or visit Truehold.com for the smarter, faster way to cash out your home's full value without having to move. 855-300-9993 or go to Truehold.com.
KMOX, KECK HD2, K254CR, St. Louis.
The legendary voice of St. Louis, KMOX.
An Odyssey station.
Hi, this is Debbie Monterey for my trusted friend and realtor, Gloria Liu, with Your Home Sold Guaranteed Realty. Gloria is the agent I've been recommending for years. If you are planning to sell your home in this crazy seller's market, you do not want to leave a single dollar on the table. You'll love working with Gloria. Gloria Liu will guarantee to sell your home at your agreed-to price and time frame, or she will buy it guaranteed in writing. Her secret? Well, Gloria has the buyers. Thousands of ready buyers looking for homes in your price range and in your neighborhood. Lawrence and Shelby sold their St. Louis home in just 3 days at $17,250 over asking price, with multiple offers when their previous agent produced 0 results. They chose Gloria over other agents, and they were thrilled with the results. You should call Gloria Liu today with any questions. 314-325-6888. 314-325-6888. It's Gloria Liu with Your Home Sold Guaranteed Realty. Find her online at gloriahasthebuyers.com. gloriahasthebuyers.com.
Mid-America's most trusted source for news, KMOX.
At 1 o'clock, it's a blue sky and 91 degrees downtown at the Arch. I'm Michael Calhoun. Our top story this hour. It's now official. Bo Rothwell will spend the rest of his life in prison for murdering his pregnant wife.
The St. Louis County man who told the jury he murdered Jennifer in a red haze of rage was sentenced late this morning. The life without parole sentence came with his April conviction on a first-degree murder charge. 2 4-year sentences for evidence tampering and abandoning her body will run concurrently. During his trial, Rothwell told the jury he did not mean to kill Jennifer, but admitted hitting her twice in the head with a mallet as they argued about his extramarital affair. He then tried to clean up the crime scene in their home and then dumped her body near Troy, Missouri. 28-year-old Jennifer was 6 weeks pregnant when she was murdered. Brian Kelly, KMOX News.
Days ahead of its next public hearing, the January 6th committee is hearing from former Trump White House counsel Pat Cipollone. CBS's Scott McFarland tells us at this point, we know very little about Cipollone's testimony, except it is taking place under a subpoena issued last week.
We know it's behind closed doors, and we know it's being video recorded, which raises the prospect we'll hear or see excerpts of it during one of the future committee hearings. Mr. Cipollone's been in and out of the room throughout the day. It began before breakfast time. It went well past lunchtime. And each time he doesn't answer our questions about whether he's answering their questions inside the interview room.
The committees will hold their next public session on Tuesday. President Biden signed an executive order aimed at helping to protect abortion rights.
President Biden lashed out at the more than 12 states now banning abortions.
What we're witnessing is a giant step backwards in much of our country.
The president's executive order asks the Justice Department to protect women seeking abortions at clinics still open or traveling out of state.
To protect them from intimidation, to protect the right of women to travel from state that prohibits seeking the medical attention that she needs to a state to provide that care.
The order also directs the Department of Health and Human Services to ensure women and girls experiencing pregnancy loss get access to emergency care protected by federal law. Steve Dorsey, CBS News, the White House.
History made at the Illinois Supreme Court as the first black woman to become a justice was sworn in. Justice Lisa Holder White says her appointment
recognizes the undeniable value and merit of what I, as a black woman, mother, daughter, sister, wife, and jurist, have to contribute to the work of our state's highest court.
She's completing the term of Justice Rita Garman, who has retired. The seat will be contested in the 2024 general election. The First Mid-Bank and Trust Business Desk, fewer people need work.
A much better than forecast June jobs report. 372,000 jobs were added, more than 100,000 above forecast. The unemployment rate unchanged at 3.6%. That's near a 5-decade low. But there were slightly fewer adults saying they either had a job or were looking for work. Tom Busby, Bloomberg Radio.
Down from Stiefel, down 32 points to 31,351. And debris on 364 West past 94. The left lane is closed. A stall 364 West past Bennington Place on the right shoulder. 55 North closed before Broadway, according to MoDOT. Stall 55 North past Bayless on the right shoulder.
Hot and humid this afternoon with times of clouds and sun, high 93. There could be a thunderstorm in spots late in the day or evening. Some clouds tonight, low 72. Some sunshine with lower humidity tomorrow, high 85. This is AccuWeather meteorologist Brian Thompson on the Voice of St. Louis, KMOX.
Florissant, it's partly cloudy, 88, feels like 95. St. Peter's, 89, feels like 97. Downtown at the Arch, 91. It feels like 100 right now. I'm Michael Calhoun, KMOX News.
The show, sponsored by Straight Realty, your St. Louis area experts. Why pay more than 4? 314-441-4444.
All right, 104 on the show. Chris Ranji, Amy Mark Scores, Kevin Wheeler, and our good friend Mike Claiborne joining us in advance of tonight's game. Cardinals and Phillies, Adam Wainwright and Zach Wheeler going at it. No relation. Claves, how's it going, man?
It is going well. How about you guys?
Yeah. What? Depends on the segment.
It's going pretty
No,
well.
it's been good. We've had a good Friday. I was just teasing the two of them.
Wow. You were just seeing if they were paying attention.
That's it, really. And they were, because they were like, what?
Yeah, although it is hard. I mean, he talks a lot.
I
so.
know. Yeah.
Amy thinks
Whoa,
everybody
Kevin
talks too
talks
much.
a lot?
Yeah. I mean, I get
Yeah.
paid by
I
the
can say
word. I don't know
Kevin
about you
talks a
guys.
lot.
Yeah. Yeah.
You just said Kevin talks a lot.
Yeah.
I've never heard that said before.
I know.
No.
Well, this is the type of hard-hitting commentary and analysis you'll get with the show.
Yep.
One of my favorite
heard that.
My favorite criticisms ever is when you get a text message, you're doing a show, right? Like a solo show, which I've done before, and they say you're talking too much. I'm like, well,
It's like literally the job.
I'm sorry, but would you
Hey,
like me to take a 5-minute silence break?
Hey, Wayno, you're
Let's
throwing
hear
too
a
many
little.
pitches.
Let's hear a little white noise.
Everybody
a talk
relax
show.
for a bit.
Claves, we're looking at it earlier. Where the Cardinals are on this date this year compared to where they were on coming into play on July 8th last year. So this year, 5 games above 500. Last year, it was 2 games below 500. So obviously a 7-game swing on the time of year. Things are better than they were last year, but we still have some of those same worries when it comes to what's going to happen with the rotation.
Oh, I agree. It's almost an annual conversation that we have with everybody with regard to what are we going to do? We got to get a pitcher. We got to get a hitter. We got to get somebody in the bullpen. Okay. And you know what? To an extent, that's probably true, where you do need some help. You're waiting on Steven Matz to return. You're waiting on Jack Flaherty to return. But when they get back, how much can they give you?
Right.
Because you can't continue to have guys just throw 5 innings and think that that's going to save the day for you, because your bullpen will be chewed up pretty good. So they've got some work to do, and there's time to do it. I think the challenge, though, is there's so many teams who think they're in postseason contention that maybe they may not be willing to deal as much. And if they do, they might want to ask for maybe a little too much as far as price is concerned.
So would you feel comfortable moving forward if there's no outside help brought in for the rotation?
Well, that's a good question. I think you're going to need some help, because we explore the minor leagues, and fortunately, the minor league guys that have been called up, most of them have done a really good job. But you still need help, and you need some length in your starting rotation. And like I said, with Matz and Flaherty coming back, they're not going to give that to you right off the bat.
The hope would be that by the time you get to September that Jack is right and he's healthy and pitching great. But I mean, what's the old cliche? The hope is not a plan.
Yeah, exactly. And we can't keep feeling that way, because we hope that the starting rotation in spring training was going to be good enough, and we see that it's not. And injury had more to do with it than performance. So there are a lot of things that go into it, but I'm sure there is a defined plan. Mo has not shared that with me, so maybe when he does, I'll pass it on to you guys. But I think you have to do something. I don't think you can feel comfortable going into September or even August with this current situation. And it's easy to say, well, we're going to have these guys back, but we just don't know how effective they're going to be.
Right. And that's the big question. And, we see like last night it was unique. It was a weird, it's a long
Fun game.
Yeah, it was a great game. A lot of moments, a lot of fun, a lot of excitement. But obviously, in 11 innings, you had a bunch of relievers used, a couple of them for 2 innings. And that makes the bullpen setup for today a little bit challenging. Of course, with Waino out there, he typically is the guy that on these days goes out there and gets you what you need.
Yeah, but you know what, Kevin, this Philadelphia bunch, we saw them last week. They can swing the bat a little bit, and we're running into some teams that can swing the bat. Philadelphia,
yeah.
We saw Atlanta. We're going to see the Dodgers next week. I mean, all those teams swing the bat well. So what you could do and get away with against Pittsburgh and Cincinnati, that's probably not going to happen. You're going to have to find some other ways to beat these good teams and certainly take the bat out of their hands.
Hey, it's post 4th of July. You promised.
I did.
Yeah.
I did. And we just kind of touched on some of those things. So
yeah.
For those who don't know, I always look at June 14th, Flag Day, as a day where you can really assess what you have and you have time to get something. And the reason I use that date is because by then you've had good streaks, bad streaks, good weather, bad weather, injuries, surprises, disappointments. You're still waiting on the jury being out on certain individuals. So we've had a chance to digest all of that and come up with some things that we feel like you have to move forward on. So the first thing is you need the long arm in the starting rotation. And that person isn't in the organization. We've seen the best of the best that's able to pitch now. And there's some guys that will come up down the road that will certainly be able to contribute, but they can't right now. You need a left-handed bat other than Brendan Donovan. Brendan Donovan was like manna from heaven because no one anticipated him having this sort of impact. Although I felt he should have come with the ball club out of spring training, but you need another left-handed bat, preferably coming off the bench. You need maybe just a tweak in the bullpen, but right now the bullpen is really doing well.
Yeah.
I mean, you're going to probably get Cabrera back here maybe today, tomorrow at the latest. So you got some real good arms in the bullpen that are doing a nice job. The question, and you just touched on something, Kevin, when they go 2 innings, and maybe some cases 3, they're going to need more days off. So you have to take that into account. So if you run out a guy and he throws 35, 40 pitches over 2.5, 3 innings, then he's going to probably need more than Saturday off. He's probably going to need 2 days off, and you come back to him on Sunday because you don't want to wear him down. We see this all the time in baseball where they run these pitchers out on a regular basis, and then when July rolls around, they can't even throw their underwear in a clothes hamper because their arm is sore. So you got to take that into account when you use guys and how effectively you use them and how long you use them. So there's some things that can be done. This team is a very competitive team. I mean, they've got some real interesting players. We talk about the veterans in Pujols and Goldschmidt and Arenado, but there's some other guys who are truly quietly emerging into being people you can count on.
And a lot of this has been with the regular lineup not being totally whole for very long. There was a little stretch there in June where you had everybody, right? You had the 3 kids up and Gorman and Yepes and Donovan, but O'Neill was in there too, and Bader was in there, and those 2 aren't there now. It sounds like we're pretty close, right? I mean, is it possible that we're going to see O'Neill here in the next couple days?
Yeah, I think you'll see O'Neill tonight.
Oh, tonight, okay.
I mean, I think there's a very good chance. Bader is a little bit further off. He's still, from what I understand, in and out of a boot. That plantar fasciitis, man.
Ugh.
Once you have it, it follows you like a bad smell. So you have to be careful on how quickly you bring him back. But those guys obviously are important. Ironically, last night, the starting lineup, there were only 2 guys in the lineup. They were on the roster opening day. And or 3, I'm sorry, 3, because Nootbaar was in. And that just kind of tells you how much has changed. And injury has had a lot to do with that. But with that said, they still find ways to try and battle. I have not seen an ounce of quit in this team. With all the new faces, they're all pulling together, and that's a good thing because I think if they weather the storm, get to the All-Star break, push the reset button, make a deal somewhere along the way, I think they could be a lot of fun to watch down the stretch.
Yeah, in talking about bigger picture, what this team looks like up against everybody else, we were discussing the record and what they've done against teams that are good, what they've done against lousy teams, and you're supposed to beat the bad teams. That's
right.
That's part of the equation. You want them to be around 500 against the really good teams, though. right now they are 19-25 against teams that are at or above 500. Does that mean much to you at this point of the season?
Well, I think it gives you a barometer on what you need to do and how you need to be better. If there's one good thing about the rest of their schedule, I believe 50 of the 81 games, somewhere in that vicinity, are against teams as we speak that are 500 or below.
Yep.
So you can do some damage, but you just can't roll out there and throw your gloves on the field and think these teams are going to roll over. You really have to put them down early and not let them think that they can beat you in the 7th inning. And they say, whoa, we're tied with the Cardinals or we're up by 1. We can beat these guys. You can't have it. You got to jump on them early. And the Cardinals' record when they score first is off the chart. So they've got to remain consistent with respect to that.
And lastly for you, Claibs, we did find out officially now that Albert Pujols is going to be in the All-Star game. There's that rule. The commissioner now, because of the new CBA, can pick a guy for each league. Miguel Cabrera going for the American League. Do you like the rule? And I mean, obviously, we're happy to have Albert in, but otherwise, do you like that rule?
This is something they should have done long ago.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, and it doesn't happen every year. But there are certain players when the end is near and they've announced that this is their last year and they've been great players. I mean, we're talking about 2 guys that are certainly going into the Hall of Fame this year, but maybe next year that guy isn't there. So I think I always call it the commissioner selection, and they come together and do it. And you know, Albert's been terrific this year. Although I got to say this. So last night we're in Atlanta and the farewell tour is underway. Philadelphia, they gave him a nice gift. I think it was like the number 5 from the scoreboard, and it was autographed by Ryan Howard. But last night, the Atlanta Braves gave Albert a check for $1,000 to the Pujols Foundation, a basket of peanuts and peaches.
Hey, those are expensive these days.
$1,000, a basket of peanuts and peaches to a Hall of Famer.
Well, he can make
hat around. They could have passed the hat around the clubhouse. And
was it
the
the boiled peanuts in the Coke or whatever?
No, they weren't. They weren't boiled.
I'm so glad you brought this up because I literally saw the basket and thought, and $1,000 to a charity. First of all, that might have been $1,000 of peaches for all I know. Skip the peaches and give the charity $2,000.
And you know what? Here's the sad thing about it. You know, like in the other places we played in Albert, there's a player from the other team or a former player from the other team that comes out. They just set the basket out. No, they set the check out, and then Marcelo Zuna came out at the last minute, like, "Hey, don't forget these." It was just really tacky. I was disappointed.
Hey, $1,000 is $1,000, Claibs. You know,
listen, those guys, you know what?
For a major league
that
team,
organization does really well. Okay, and as I said, they could have passed the hat around in the room and raised more money than writing out a check for $1,000. Now, granted, I'm sure it'll be greatly appreciated, but come on,
times are tough.
This is a Hall of Famer here. Okay,
right.
I'm with you, Claibs. Have fun tonight, man. We'll talk to you here next week. But in the meantime, let's get some wins, dude.
I'm gonna do my darndest. Hey, don't forget tonight we're gonna be across the street.
Oh yeah,
right. On the second level, Daniel Descalzo is gonna join Ricky
Great
Horton and
guest.
myself, and we're gonna have a good time with him. So I know we'll have a good crowd tonight. So why sit in traffic? Just come on over and hang out with us for a while.
It's a great spot. The Bullock is the outdoor bar and restaurant area at the Lowe's Hotel. It's live at Lowe's for the post-game show following the game. As Claibs mentioned, it's you and Ricky Horton hosting, Daniel Descalzo the guest. And I'm going to say, I highly recommend the crab cakes. They're amazing.
Can I pull up a chair just right in front of you guys?
Of course.
Facing you?
Yes.
People do that.
Yes.
Oh,
people do it all the time.
They just stand right there at the table and
know
stare
what?
at you.
That's what
And
I'm
if you
gonna
don't
do.
watch out, they'll try and grab one of your crab cakes.
Oh, not mine. You get slapped real quick if you try to grab one of my crab cakes, man.
Excuse me, sir. Is that a fork imprinted?
Yeah. Kevin will literally bark at you if you grab for his food. Yep.
So Kevin, are you that person when you have French fries?
Yep.
And somebody says, "Hey, can I get a fry?"
Yep.
You say, let me just buy you your own.
Yeah.
Maybe
There's
depends
no
on the
grazing in mine.
circumstance. Yeah. If you've taken advantage of my kindness before, be like, here's it'd be like here's
this guy.
Here's $2. Go get your own small fry.
You have abused my altruism.
Listen to this guy. Are you kidding me?
Just remember that, Ron, next time.
Yeah.
We got the male version of Emily Post over
Dude.
Is it bad? I don't know who
Manners
that is.
himself. Mr. Manners
Yeah.
himself.
Miss Manners.
Miss Manners, is that who that is?
Yeah,
I
Amy
know.
knows.
Claves, I'm right there with you.
You know what, Amy? Sober those guys up, okay?
Hey.
No,
put a little class in the room.
I'm
These
trying.
guys dutied up a little bit.
Well, she
I'm surrounded by
She's
duty.
Emily Post. I'm basically Borat.
And you know, nobody's arguing with you about it either.
I know. We're like, yeah, that's fair.
Nope, that's about right. Claims
All right,
be
you
good,
guys
buddy.
have a
We'll
great
talk to you next week.
weekend. Take care.
I don't know who Emily Post is.
Obviously.
Well, I mean, I guarantee you Emily Post doesn't know who Albert Pujols is.
I bet she does.
I
because
bet she
it's
doesn't.
good etiquette to
I mean,
know.
the number of people that you'd be like, well, I don't know sports people. Well, I don't know nerdy people that talk about
all you nerds with your manners.
manners and stuff.
Ooh, let me talk about baseball. Maybe
That
Amy has
them's the
some.
breaks.
Maybe Amy has a thought.
For everything online, it's Odyssey.com. Download the Odyssey app and listen to KMOX for all the news, sports, talk, and podcasts that move you. Odyssey, that's AUDACY.
You like a company that really stands behind its product? Well, listen to what Diamonds Direct does. Let's say you buy a diamond today for $6,000, but later on you want to trade up to a larger diamond or maybe a different shape. Diamonds Direct will give you $6,600 towards the new diamond. That's a guaranteed 10% appreciation. Let me say it again. You paid $6,000 originally, but Diamonds Direct pays you $6,600 for that same diamond when you upgrade. 10% more for the same diamond. It's Diamonds Direct's 110% upgrade guarantee, and it applies to diamond pendants and diamond stud earrings as well. You get the extra 10% on a $3,000 diamond or a $30,000 diamond. Doesn't matter. No strings attached either. You can get the 110% trade-up value regardless of the cost of the new diamond, and you can upgrade as many times as you like. Now that's peace of mind, and that's a company that believes in its product. Diamonds Direct, your love, our passion.
Are you concerned about higher taxes, soaring inflation, and what's next for the stock market? Don't miss Your Retirement Professors this Saturday afternoon at 1 on St. Louis's News Radio, KMOX.
If you're having a bad day, if you're having a bad week, if you're having a bad year, you're having a bad month, we're human beings. We love each other. We will protect each other. We will take care of each other. Just look around. It happens every single day. Always, you hear the saying, treat others like you would like to be treated. I'm saying it, you hear it, but take it for what it's worth. Look at how you treat others. We all believe we're like the nicest people in the world, but we have bad moments. We have bad times. Something happened to us. But when you see the first person you see, don't be mean to that person. Don't ruin their day. And the next person that you run into that's having a bad problem, they're not going to ruin your day. Remember, we're good people. We're the United States of America. We're the strongest, most giving country in the universe. Remember that. And we do work together. We do not hate each other. Listen to the other person. Learn, enjoy, and God bless.
Why should I buy from you? Always ask. Hi, I'm Chuck Easter with Easter Fence Deck and Renovations. When working with Easter, you know it's not just about making a buck. Our commitment is to do what's right. We are a third-generation family business. A lot of pride goes into every fence, deck, and sunroom. Our name is on it, and we guarantee it. Even if it was the first job Dad did in 1957, if we didn't do it right or didn't do what we said, we'll fix it for free. Call 314-892-8500 or easterfence.com.
CertaPro painters have powers beyond those of ordinary painters.
Power of timeliness.
We show up when we say we will, on time and fully caffeinated.
The power of transformation.
Also known as making your house look so good, your neighbors will be jealous.
The power of certainty.
That's your local CertaPro painters. The power of pro. Get your project started at CertaPro.com.
Each CertaPro painter's business is independently owned and operated.
Recent impacts with inflation, ongoing COVID concerns, and geopolitical conflict have us all and the markets on edge. Heisey Advisory Group understands the importance of having a customized strategy for retirement, especially during uncertain times, to help ensure these concerns don't have an impact on your retirement. Heisey Advisory Group is a St. Louis-based, family-owned and operated holistic retirement planning firm. Our team has defined a process that puts together all the pieces of the financial puzzle, working with all of your service providers to help develop an individualized plan that grows with you as your life changes and your needs evolve. If you're not confident that your retirement plan is on track to deliver the lifestyle you want amid historic levels of uncertainty, call us today at 314-328-4400. That's 314-328-4400.
Investing involves risk, including the potential loss of principal. Firm provides insurance services. Investment advisory services offered only by duly registered individuals through A Wealth Management, LLC.
Trusted information, live and local. From the award-winning KMOX Newsroom.
It's Friday on the show, 124 to be specific. Chris Ranji, Amy Marks, course, Kevin Wheeler.
Guys, turn my microphone. Okay, here we go.
You turn your own mic on.
I did. I pushed the button, but I pushed the wrong one, like you did about 40 minutes ago.
Now we're all doing that, by the way.
I know.
All of us do that.
That's what, all of us. You know, that's the funny thing is, like, that voice is the voice each of us have for the other person.
Yeah.
Like when I make fun of Amy, it's
Yeah.
and then Kevin is like, actually.
And then when I make fun of Wheels, it's like, it's the baseball question.
Actually, my voice for Kevin's like, I already knew that.
Yeah, you got to get a little deeper.
Yeah.
I know.
But in my head, Kevin, that's how you say, like, ooh, Dougie Gardle, oh, maybe Amy
That's
has
funny.
a little
That's
girl
what it sounds
question.
like when I'm getting lectured. But Emily Post. You have no manners.
Claves was right. I'm surrounded by a bunch of duty.
Oh, are you? Hey,
Ugh.
we were talking about long movies.
Yeah.
A couple of segments ago. And, you know, when Avatar comes out in December, I think it's December 16th, it's supposed to happen. It's going to be long. We know it's going to be a long movie, so you're going to have to pick your time. Somebody texted in 314-436-7900. We welcome your texts all show, all day. Please do it. We love you. Thank you.
Especially if you want to make fun of us. That's the best.
Yeah, that's fine too. But mainly
It's
Amy.
not the best.
Reserve it for Amy.
I
mostly.
think they do.
They do. Yeah, they do
I
actually.
think they do. I think we're pretty safe on that one.
They tell me to go to hell. They tell you to stop being a weirdo. And Kevin,
or an atheist.
Usually it's just
or
telling
a
me to shut
liberal,
up.
no, it's
or
telling
a
you to quit being
rhino.
angry.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're calling you a Marxist and a rhino
A rhino and an atheist.
and an atheist.
Which
And
is a surprise to me, but
that's trust me, I know.
Hey, listen, it's
I
great.
heard the
It's a
whole
great cover
conversation.
story.
Oh my
It's
gosh.
a great cover story.
it is.
Text message from a
Mhm.
314 says the Run P app is a great way to know when you should take a potty break during a movie. It's called Run. And so I looked it up. There's an app called Run P.
There's an app for that.
RUNPEE.
That's correct. And it will tell you if you download it,
Mhm.
which I'm a little hesitant to download it.
But
it will
search it a little bit just to make sure it's legit.
Yeah, so it will tell you the precise moment that you should get up to go to the bathroom. That you're not going to miss anything.
So
This is a great idea.
that's
I
a great
love
idea.
this.
You know what else? There should also be an app that when you're watching a movie, you can just scan your phone and it'll be like, yes, this is that actor that you saw in this movie. So that you don't have to
Oh,
sit there
that's
going,
great.
where do I know this guy from? You just hold up your phone, it scans it, and like he was also in this. This is how you know him.
At home, you just go to IMDb and you look at the movie you're watching. You'd be like, oh, yeah.
But you do have to like type in the name of the movie, look
Yep.
at the cast, find the name of the guy,
Mhm.
and then go to IMDb versus an app where you just scan with your with your camera, right? The
Last
photo.
thing we need is that in a theater, though.
Okay, you know what, Answer Man?
Damn it.
This guy.
Well, because they'll
You're
think you're a
going to have 800 people holding their phones up during the movie
Yeah,
like
they'll-
it's a concert.
and they'll think you're a bootlegger.
Oh.
You don't want to be a bootlegger. You can go to jail for that. For bootlegging.
Anyway, this was my great business idea.
It's a good
Shut
idea.
down.
No, it's a
Remember
good
when
idea.
you were worried about
Just don't do it in the theater.
going to prison?
Mhm.
Amy, that's the thing she's going to go to prison
She's
for.
going to be like,
bootlegger.
I was just trying to figure out who this person was. You're bootlegging the movie, Amy.
See, and that's why I'm afraid of accidentally breaking the law.
If Amy, okay, let's say she does get thrown in jail for something
Mhm.
and she's convicted and so she goes away for a long time. Yes or no? Do we visit?
Yeah.
What if it's far away?
No.
Yeah.
Is Fulton, Missouri too far?
Oh, absolutely.
How far is that?
That's
How far is that?
it's at least more than 20
Hour
minutes. So
40
the answer is
minutes.
no.
It's how many?
Hour and 40?
Yeah,
Hour and a half?
definitely
Yeah,
not. Yeah,
definitely
I'm not-
visit. If
yeah.
it's under 2 hours, yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
No, I'm not.
I mean, I drive
I'll
35
tell you
minutes
what,
to work
You
every
live
day.
in the Central West End, Ranj, and
Yeah.
you don't want to meet with me if it's west of 170.
That is correct. I'll tell you what, if you end up in Supermax, I'll go because I really want to see one.
You could probably visit.
Or you could break the law and get convicted. And
Actually, I
go.
think I know somebody in one.
Jay, go say hi.
The voices of your morning news.
I'm Debbie Monterey.
I'm Tom Ackerman.
Good morning. I'm Megan Lynch.
Weather.
AccuWeather meteorologist Dean DeVore.
Traffic.
I'm Roger Brand.
Sports.
I'm Tom Ackerman on the home of the Cardinals.
Your voices for morning news and information. And now,
I'm Carol Daniel.
And I'm Tom Ackerman.
with more news, interviews, and in-depth story analysis.
Expanded Total Information AM.
Total Information AM 5 till 8. Expanded Total Information AM 8 till 10. On 98.7 FM, 1120 AM. And streaming on the Odyssey app.
In this market, you'll find Fisher Investments is different than other money managers.
Different how? Aren't we all just looking for the hottest stocks?
Nope. We use diversified strategies to position our clients' portfolios for their long-term goals.
You don't just provide cookie cutter portfolios?
No, we tailor our clients' portfolios to their goals and needs.
But you still sell investments that generate high commissions for you, right?
No, we don't sell commission-based products. We're a fiduciary, the highest standard of care for a financial advisor. It means we're obligated to act in our clients' best interest.
So when do you make more money? Only when your clients make more money?
Yep, we have one transparent management fee structured so we do better when our clients do better.
Sounds like you really look out for your clients.
We do, because our priority is helping them achieve a comfortable retirement. That might be why most of our clients come from other money managers. Visit FisherInvestments.com to find out why investors like you switch to us. Fisher Investments, clearly different money management.
Investments in securities involve the risk of loss.
At 1:30, we've got some sun and 92 degrees downtown at the Arch. Former Japanese Prime Minister Shinzo Abe is dead after being shot at a political speech. President Biden mentioned he is still being briefed on the situation, but did offer these remarks.
I do not believe it's likely to have, but I don't know yet, likely to have any profound destabilizing impact on Japanese security or Japanese solidarity.
Bo Rothwell, the Creve Corps man convicted of killing his pregnant wife, has been sentenced to life in prison without parole. Rothwell admitted to hitting his wife Jennifer in the head with a mallet in 2019. Some rejoicing by numbers crunchers as St. Louis County gets recognition and awards for financial reporting. For the first time, St. Louis County is a Triple Crown winner. For the 40th consecutive year, the county gets the Government Finance Officers Association Certificate of Achievement for Excellence in Financial Reporting, but also the popular Annual Financial Reporting Award and the Distinguished Budget Presentation Award. We've got emergency vehicles on I-170 south on the ramp from Page. Some debris, 364 going west past 94, right lane closed. And a stall, 364 west past Bennington Place. It's on the right shoulder. And we've got a heat advisory that's in effect until 8 p.m. today. Real field temperatures today above 100. And overnight tonight, we'll have a low 72 for tomorrow's high 85. Watch for some thunderstorms late today or into this evening. It's 92 downtown, but it feels like 101. I'm Michael Calhoun, KMOX News.
Tune in this weekend for Everyday Wealth with Soledad O'Brien and Gene Chatsky, presented by Edelman Financial Engines. Your hosts and their guests will explore how our financial decisions shape our everyday lives. For airtimes, visit everydaywealth.com.
Driven by the Bomarito Automotive Group, the voice of St. Louis, KMOX.
Have you been waiting for the perfect time to get your Missouri medical marijuana card? Today is the day at 420id.com. Dispensaries are open and inventory is in. 420id.com is a BBB accredited business with over 16,000 happy Missouri patients. If we can't approve you, you pay nothing at 420id.com. Open late every day until 9 p.m. Sign up for your Missouri medical marijuana card now at 420id.com and use promo code RADIO for $30 off today.
Find out what's happening with your Redbirds from the manager himself, Oliver Marmol. Sundays at 10:15 on Sports Open Line and Wednesday mornings at 9:50. The Ollie Marmol Show.
I'm excited for not only the club but for the fans. This is a special year for sure.
On KMOX.
I just learned a new word.
A new word.
A new word like 20 seconds ago. So I'm reading.
Yeah, you just started giggling.
That's actually the second new word you've learned
I don't know
today.
why it's funny. So there's a story about there's a new panic over weed. This is from slate.com because there's
Reefer madness.
there's a syndrome called cannabinoid hypermesis syndrome. It's rare, but it involves severe or prolonged vomiting.
Ugh.
Okay?
I know,
And there's
I know the word
say it.
scromidy.
Yeah, it's called scromiting because it's a combination of screaming and vomiting. So
How do you do both at the same time?
I used to call it yelling at the ground.
Yeah.
You're like, ah! Scromiting. That's so funny, but people die from it.
What?
I
If
guess.
you can't stop.
I guess you. You just.
I'm guessing it's one of the easier things to diagnose, though.
I don't know that I've ever screamed.
I can't do it silently.
Well,
I
it's
swear
never
to God,
silent.
No.
but
No.
I mean, like, there's a difference
Listen,
between.
as much
I don't
as
want
I
to get gross. I'm not going to go there.
Yeah,
but
don't go there.
I try not to, but when it's happening for me, I am like, ah! it's so bad, and I can't do anything about it.
Why do I not believe him?
I swear, I'm a scrometer. I'm not lying. I am totally serious. I can't not. There's nothing I can do about it.
I mean, there's always like a guttural, you know.
Oh yeah. Oh, Kevin, it's like.
But I mean, like, they're like, it's like.
No.
Yeah, you guys know the meme where there's like a woodchuck and he's like,
yeah.
That's what I'm picturing.
For
the
me, it's
scream.
like I'm yelling at the guy across the lake. Tony!
Tony.
I can't.
What's your name? Tony.
I can't help it no matter what I do. It's so bad. So
Anyway,
well, now
okay.
you know what you're doing.
I'm sorry. I'm scromiting.
Yeah.
I've never heard that word before. I can't believe you've heard of it.
She
Guys,
probably read that story.
I've read multiple
It was in the
stories
science journal.
About scromiting?
about scromiting. I read everything. If it's out there, I've read it.
But weed-induced vomiting does
Ugh.
happen, apparently.
Oh, it sounds
Is it like a?
unpleasant.
It's very rare.
I'll say it's not. It's like a. It's not genetic, is it? Like if you have a certain genetic tendency toward it.
I don't know.
Or
Towards
is it
scromiting?
Well, I mean, like everybody's prone to something
You do
more
a
than other
21
things.
in me, and you're like, oh no.
Just saying, like, is it that, or is it
Long
like, is it
scrometers.
like an OD thing? Like if you do too much,
They say it's all here, according to the story. It's not a reason to fear the legalization of pot, experts say.
Okay.
Though it is good for medical professionals to be familiar with the symptoms, which, yes, can include loud vocal sounds.
Okay.
So here's what I'm picturing.
So basically, the same result if you drink too much.
Is the guy,
I
the
guess.
guy, this guy who really wants to be, the voice of legalized marijuana, and there's just scrometers all
I
over,
mean, what the?
and he's walking around going, "Pay no attention to what's
It's
happening
rare.
behind the curtain."
It's very rare, so you don't have to worry about it.
It's pretty common for those that like to drink too much, though.
Well, that's
Well,
different.
That's different.
I'm just saying it's.
I mean,
if-
I've actually never been drunk, so I've never thrown up from drinking.
Look at that. We have it in common.
I know. I heard you say that, and I thought it was me and like Mitt Romney.
Well, I mean, Mitt's not the only one of them. There are.
I didn't honestly.
They don't drink.
I didn't think it was possible at this point in my life to be in the same room with two other adults who had not.
ever been drunk.
Yeah.
I mean, again, I've had drinks, but I've
No,
not,
yeah,
I
yeah.
would never say that I've been like drunk.
No.
Dave's drunk right now.
Well, I mean,
I've never been
that's just
drunk.
because of all the stuff that we're
Producer
doing.
Dave is
Yeah.
crushed right now.
How do you think
no,
I get
see-
through this show?
See,
That's a good point.
Yeah.
I love it. That's amazing. But I don't. I have. It happened to me before.
Like sure, yeah, I believe you.
But it doesn't happen very often. I'm not one of those people.
You're not one of the party till you.
No. No, I'm not.
All right.
I'm a lot of fun, though.
Here's a lead from the New York Times I
Yep,
would
yep.
like to read to you guys. One night last month, Britt Gerhard and her husband heard a bang on the roof of their house in San Francisco around 8 p.m. It was so loud, they thought it was an earthquake. The couple had just put their 4-year-old daughter to bed, and Gerhard, a 38-year-old artist, was alarmed. Suddenly, shiny and silver things, each just a few inches long, began flying past the window. They were anchovies.
Flying anchovies.
Anchovies are falling from the sky in San Francisco.
Oh.
Mm-hmm. So it says it sounds bizarre or even biblical, but scientists say they have a perfectly rational explanation. The anchovy population off the California coast is booming, which doesn't necessarily explain them falling from the sky. But here's what happened is tons of anchovies are washing up on the shore. And if you Google pictures of these anchovies, like we're talking quite literal tons of anchovies washing up on the shore in San Francisco. And what they think is happening is birds are grabbing all the anchovies, and the anchovies are falling out of the mouths of the birds onto the roofs.
So
in San
that happened in
Francisco.
my backyard when I lived in Chicago. I'm standing out in the backyard with my dogs, and a fish almost falls on my head.
Okay.
It's a perfectly clear day, and a fish falls and almost hits me in the head. And I look up, and there's a heron flying by, and he's like, "Oh crap, that
Was
guy's
it a
got my
heron
fish."
or an
Did you-
egret?
When you saw
whatever.
that,
a big bird.
you saw that and you said, "Holy mackerel!"
Oh my gosh.
What? What?
I said, "What
Do
the?"
you know why I ordered fish for dinner last night?
No, Amy, don't.
Just for the halibut.
Just for the halibut. Yeah, okay. God. Come
You,
on, man.
Kevin Wheeler,
Come
did
on.
not act offended because you
on.
You just had a dad joke during the
I
commercial
did.
break.
I told the dad jokes. I in the evenings when I'm getting ready to go to bed, I like to get on the TikTok and watch funny videos. And lately, it's been a lot of like tortilla challenges and people slapping each other, and it's funny. And occasionally, you'll get something else because it knows I like dumb humor because, duh. And there's these guys that I think were on the Virginia Tech football coaching staff. We're doing a dad joke off where you're on each side of the table and you're trying to say dad jokes without laughing at the other person's dad joke. And the one that actually, I believe, won the competition was why do ducks have tail feathers?
Why do ducks have tail feathers, Kevin?
Covers their butt quacks.
You know, in this nearly 100.
Amy's look is like, oh, if you're on the Facebook thing, Amy's like,
This
you
is-
want to laugh so hard, but you don't want to give me the gratification of saying, I made you laugh with that dad joke. But you love dad jokes.
This fine radio station
Yeah.
has been around for almost 100 years.
Over probably.
And
maybe
so
not
many
quite.
so many voices have come through here.
Yeah.
Respectable voices.
And you just talked about scromming.
Yeah, you're the
Oh.
scromming guy.
You can't lecture.
You know what? Yeah, you make a good point. I did.
Have you heard of scromming? That's me.
We went from Costas to scromming.
Hey, how do you
Jack
know? You
Buck
didn't listen to
to
any of those
Costas?
shows. Costas might have been talking about tail feathers and
No,
such.
he was poignant and thoughtful and researched, and I'm talking about scromming.
I mean, you have a point.
Yeah.
And it's a dad joke, but it's still, it's not dirty.
Yeah. It's not.
There was also a video yesterday of these veterinarians, like this doesn't have a punchline. It's not a joke.
Oh,
but the veterinarians, well, like they're taking care of birds because they take care of all animals.
Uh-huh.
And there's just this one giant parrot in his cage, and he is cursing them out nonstop.
Okay.
He is like, this bird is so unhappy. He's like, let me out. And he's like, blankety, blankety, blank,
This
blank,
was
blank.
from last year, but there were 5 parrots at the zoo, and I think it was in Australia, and they had to separate the parrots because they were encouraging each other to cuss at the zoo visitors.
That's wonderful.
Parrots
Best.
they
Wonderful.
react to humans reacting. So
Yeah.
the one parrot would say, blank you, and the people would laugh, and the other parrots would go, and then say
And they
it
say it
back,
again.
and they would egg each other on
That's
to
the best.
cuss at the zoo visitors. And they said,
I
well,
need to
it
get
was,
parrots.
Yeah, well, it was hilarious. They had to split up. The
Why did you have to?
cussing
Because
parrots.
that's an attraction.
They said
I
for
think
kids.
people. Well, Forget them. People, you get like 10 times more people showing up to
Yeah.
the zoo.
Plus, they swear a lot in Australia. It's not even that weird.
I don't know which zoo it was. It might not have been Australia. It was a zoo like that. It wasn't the St. Louis Zoo. But the thing is, I love the fact that they were egging each other on.
It's the best.
Like they're
smart.
Like,
man.
you know how we go to a meeting, Steve says he needed to separate the three of us
Uh-huh.
so that they can get stuff done.
It's because you guys won't stop talking.
I love that these parrots, they were the troublemakers.
The best.
Yeah. I would have gone to see those
They were like
parrots if-
they were the four
Yeah.
they were the four Ranjis.
Yeah.
He's always pretending he's not a part
Well-
of any of it. Meanwhile, you're egging it on.
No, I'm-
nonstop.
First of all, there were 5 of them.
5 Ranjis.
Yeah.
Oh. Well, actually, that's her new That's the superhero. She's well actually lady.
I'm the answer
Actually,
man.
they were 5.
Who are you
Mhm.
again? Oh, you're Professor Chaos.
I'm Professor Chaos. But would you not go
Captain
to this
Scrummett.
Captain Scrummett? I love
Scrummeter.
One of the finest zoos in the world is the St. Louis Zoo.
It
Here,
is.
it's free.
Yeah, it's free.
I would
That's
go
not
there.
why it's fantastic, but it is a good bonus.
Yeah, I would go there regularly if there were cussing parrots. What words have you learned today? Wouldn't you?
If there was one, no. If there were 5
5?
egging each other on,
And then they
yes.
like go off and they laugh
and
in the
they
back. They're
laugh,
like,
and their little heads go up and
They-
down.
yeah,
and they're
yeah, yeah.
laughing. Yeah.
I'm
would
in.
do
love
that.
it.
I would
Oh.
laugh if I got cursed out by a parrot.
I love getting
They
sweared
said-
at.
Well,
I love it.
Parrots do pick up words, so they said it's not uncommon for parrots to cuss, but they've never seen 5 of them like work together to work the crowd and egg each other on.
That's so great.
I love it.
Yeah, they're smarties. It's a good thing my dog can't do that. That'd be bad.
He'd be picking them up from you.
Well, he would be, of course.
Yeah, filthy mouth.
I'm Nick Schroer. The woke left is trying to destroy America by taking away our rights, defunding the police, and indoctrinating our children into socialists. This is not the America our founding fathers envisioned. I'm fighting them, and with your help, we can take America back. I backed the blue 100% and fought to give police the tools they need to keep our families safe. I helped pass the Second Amendment Preservation Act to ensure Joe Biden and his cronies can't take guns away from law-abiding citizens. And last year, I opposed raising the gas tax.
Nick Schroer sponsored Missouri's pro-life trigger law, ensuring we would be the first state in the country to ban abortions after Roe v. Wade was overturned. He sponsored the Parents' Bill of Rights, which would ban radical ideologies like critical race theory in our schools. And as our state senator, Nick Schroer will protect girls' sports from boys who want to pretend to be girls. Nick Schroer, an American First conservative, paid for by friends of Nick Schroer.
Nobody's more proud of what Diamonds Direct offers than our own staff.
Our standards are the highest I've ever seen in the business, and I've been in this industry my entire life.
Not only do we have the most competitive pricing in the industry, but the whole package that you get with it is incomparable.
One thing that always surprises clients is how much further their budget will go with Diamonds Direct.
But way beyond value, what we're most proud of is our total commitment to each and every customer.
We go above and beyond for our customers so that they feel valued and they know that they're valued.
We are really focusing on not making a sale that day. We want to make a friend forever.
It doesn't matter what size diamond that you're looking for. We're going to take care of you, and we're going to make you feel fabulous.
The philosophy to take care of the customer is just amazing.
When clients come in, I think what they can feel is our passion.
The electricity that you get in here, everybody's happy. It's such a friendly environment.
Diamonds Direct.
And you can feel that energy and that happiness every time you step into our showroom.
Come see and feel the difference. Your love, our passion. Get directions and store hours at diamondsdirect.com.
Tom Ackerman for Building Community with Busey Bank, a podcast series easily accessible at KMOX.com/community banking. Busey's community focus takes us to Edwardsville in July. I'm joined by Steve Grant, Vice President and Busey Area Manager for Edwardsville, and a Rotarian to talk about the Busey Bank Rotary Criterium Festival, a fun biking event coming this summer. Listen to our July podcast, Building Community with Busey Bank, at KMOX.com/community banking.
This is Corey from Air Comfort Service Heating and Cooling, here to tell you about an organization that is near and dear to our company and one we've been proud to sponsor, Greater St. Louis Honor Flight. Greater St. Louis Honor Flight flies World War II, Korea, and Vietnam War veterans to Washington, D.C. for free to see their memorials. Greater St. Louis Honor Flight is looking for you. If you know of a veteran, please sign them up for their honor flight, or if you'd like to lend your support, visit gslhonorflight.org. And for all things heating and cooling, visit aircomfortservice.com. That's aircomfortservice.com.
Did you know that one of the health benefits of swimming lessons is burning more calories than jogging while providing ease on your joints? SwimOnFoundation.org.
The show, sponsored by Straight Realty, your St. Louis area experts. Why pay more than 4? 314-441-4444. Back to the show.
Yeah, the show.
With Amy, Chris, and Kevin on KMOX.
Ron, you got any more gross facts to throw at us
What do you
before we
mean?
go
I'm
to the
not
weekend?
I didn't say any. That wasn't gross.
It's gross.
It was funny.
I mean, it is funny,
It's funny.
but it was gross.
Nah, it's,
I mean,
think
gross
it's
can
okay.
be very funny. I mean, I loved every single episode of the Jackass show and all the movies. So, gross can be very funny.
Yeah.
I'm not really a gross, funny kind of person.
Not at all.
No.
So, like, you wouldn't sit down with the two of us, like, a Saturday night or something, and watch the Jackass movies.
No. First of all, I wouldn't spend Saturday night with two of you guys.
What if we
No,
what
Kevin,
if we made
Kevin.
what if we made a $1,000 donation to a charity and gave you peaches and peanuts from Georgia?
No, because I actually would probably get sick. If there's anything gross, I
Oh,
have
yeah.
to close my eyes. I'll get sick.
Okay.
Have you guys ever
That's
had
a good reason.
the boiled
Yeah.
peanuts where they boil them
I
in
have.
Coke or something?
Yep.
Is it good?
No.
No.
They do that in Georgia, right?
Yeah.
I think it's the
isn't
South. It's not
it-
just Georgia,
But it
right?
is a big Georgia thing, yeah.
Oh,
No,
yeah.
they do it in the South. You'll see the little stands on the side of the road.
I think it was with Mark Reardon. I think I was on with Mark Reardon. We did, the boiled peanuts and Coke. It's not that it was like, oh my gosh, I gagged. It was so gross. It's just, it tastes like boiled peanuts and Coke. Nothing's transformative. It just
That kind of
wasn't-
seems like it would be good.
It's not, though. I mean, it's not great. Maybe you could, I would never choose to eat that.
No.
Especially if it's that much sugar and that many calories. I'm going to eat birthday cake.
I think in the South,
That's a good move.
there are some odd food items in the South. And maybe there are everywhere, but you ever heard of red eye gravy?
Yes.
Not sure.
It's got coffee in it.
Yeah, it's
Ugh.
bacon grease and coffee.
No
Yeah.
thanks.
It's
I'll pass.
and then you dip a biscuit in it.
I mean, biscuits are good.
I love biscuits.
Have you ever
Biscuits
had-
and gravy is,
Have you ever
great.
had poutine?
I have not had poutine.
Yeah.
Everybody tells me it's good.
It's just a thing.
Yeah, I agree. It's just like, bleh, whatever.
What about chicken and waffles?
the best?
Now, there's a chicken and waffle cone place in the
Mhm.
Central West End now. I haven't gone in there, but it's like it looks like it's a
called
fast
chicken
food.
cone,
Yeah, it's
right?
called
So
chicken
you got to
cone.
bring that for us Monday.
If I remember, well, they're probably not open it.
Buy it over the weekend. Put it in your refrigerator.
There's
They
no
have-
way
they
that's
have-
good.
They have swung by with chicken cone before.
Here?
Mhm.
Have you had it?
Mm-hmm.
Is it?
Yeah,
Oh,
it's good.
okay.
I snuck some of that.
So do they put like chicken nuggets inside a cone?
Well, you have
A waffle cone?
variety of choices.
Yeah, say it's not one thing.
Yeah.
I can't wait to try this place.
Okay. Right now, or you have to walk the plank, so you have to give an answer.
Yeah. yeah.
What's the best? Waffles, pancakes, or French toast?
A French toast.
Oh, that's a tough one. I think I have to
Pancakes.
go waffles.
Pancakes.
See, we're all three different people. That's
We
why
should
this
go
show
get-
works.
We should get breakfast.
Yeah, we talk about that's balance right there.
It
Yeah.
really is.
Covers
It's,
all perspectives.
it's fair and balanced.
I don't know about fair, but
I
at
feel
least
like
it's
you're
balanced.
unfair.
You're unfair. The here's why I like French
Good
toast.
comeback, Ronch.
No, I didn't have anything for that. I kind of wanted to move away from it real quick.
But them's the breaks.
Yeah. Sometimes
That gets the easiest laugh out of Amy every
I know.
time.
It's so good.
It is pretty great.
we're talking about
Defeffel.
French toast.
Mhm.
It just there's a different texture to it. It's like kind of if you do it right,
Oh,
crunchy
yeah.
on the outside,
Oh, they're
chewy
all
on the
amazing.
inside. And I love a waffle too. I feel like a waffle's a good second, but they're all great.
Why does breakfast food smell so good?
'Cause it's perfect.
Fundamentally different than any other
It's
smell.
perfect.
Steak smells great, barbecue's great, but breakfast food?
Breakfast food. Will you do it for dinner? Will you have
Oh,
breakfast
yeah.
food for
All
dinner?
the time.
All
Yeah,
the
me
time.
too. I love
Mhm.
it.
The whole deal, man. Hash browns.
Yep.
Sausages,
So,
eggs.
We used to these two guys that I used to run with. We called it the Thursday morning breakfast club, and we would pick our running route based on which breakfast place we were going. It was every Thursday, and it was so much fun. From Uncle Bill's to Courtesy Diner to Tiffany's, which is like a little hole in the wall in Maplewood, like little diner. Chris's Pancake. Just everywhere. And we would pick breakfast places all over the bi-state area.
That sounds amazing.
It was so much
if
fun.
you take the running part out.
Oh, and we have a couple of really good. Well, First Watch has moved into the Central West
I
End.
love First Watch.
I love Kingside, which is a place that I've been going to for a long time, and they're still in the that Maryland and Euclid, that little corridor right there. They moved across the street where Gamlin Whiskey House used to be, but their stuff is great. First Watch is really, really strong. The Shack, I have the only time I've tried to go to the Shack, it was like a come back in 4 hours.
Oh, that's
sort
too
of
bad.
thing.
It is
Everybody has said that about that. I have a recommendation to any place that makes blueberry pancakes.
Okay.
I love blueberry pancakes. When you make a blueberry pancake, that means there are blueberries in the mixture. Okay. Not a big glop of blueberry syrup on top.
That's
of
exactly.
the
That's
pancake.
okay too.
No, it isn't.
It's different.
That is not a blueberry.
but in tandem with, not instead of the blueberries inside the pancakes.
Okay, but you're missing the main point here.
It's got to be in the mix.
One is a blueberry,
or it's not a blueberry pancake.
One is a blueberry pancake. The other one is a pancake with blueberries on it.
Yeah,
correct.
fair.
Thank you very much. Because there is a place in town, and it angers me
What
because
does it rhyme with?
I'm not telling you.
No, that's not fair.
Well, no, we can ask them to put blueberries.
Well, I mean, you could do that.
They
in
know who they
person.
are.
Okay.
You
They
could
know
do
who
that
they
in
are.
person too. You could just be like, "Hey guys, just a suggestion."
Susan checks in.
Chefs loves suggestions.
They do. Well, yeah, go back and hey, you're doing it wrong.
Oh yes.
You have to open the kitchen
chefs
door.
love suggestions.
Susan checking in on Facebook says Rooster has a really good breakfast, and that is
Oh,
true.
I
Rooster is
love
really strong.
Rooster.
Victory.
But do you know what? Like, there's all these like really fancy. I mean, not that Rooster or the Shack is fancy, but they're kind of like they feel like boutique-y breakfast places.
Trendy.
I also just love Denny's and IHOP.
Yeah, those are good too.
I'm down with that too. Yeah.
Love that.
Mm-hmm.
You know the great thing about Denny's
I
is
always
it's
get-
open at 3 a.m.
Yeah.
Because y'all need breakfast at 3.
There was a Denny's near us and then it closed. Like I didn't know Denny's ever closed. Like it's like gone. Like, I've never seen a Denny's not busy.
I always assumed that when the apocalypse happens and the bombs fall, the only thing open would be Denny's.
No, do you know?
No,
that
it'll be
there's
White Castle.
Actually, a Waffle
And a White
House.
Castle. That's right.
Have you guys heard about the Waffle House factor? Like when the Waffle House never closes, and so the
a good
FEMA
one,
and the government or whatever literally checks in to see whether or not Waffle House is open, and if a Waffle House is closed, that's when they know it's really bad.
I bet that's an urban myth.
It's not. It's not. Answer Man, hurry! We've got like 60 seconds.
Answer Man, where are
Do
you?
Waffle House emergency. It's actually.
How come
true.
Answer Man's never here when you need him, but he shows up when you don't?
That's a
You ever
great
noticed?
point. Actually, that's a really good superhero idea.
Answer
always-
Man.
he
The worst
always
timing.
shows up
Yeah.
Answer
when you
Man.
I'm
don't
bad
need him.
timing, man.
Answer Man.
It's Superman, but he shows up like when everyone's just hanging out.
The Waffle House Index is an informal metric named after the Waffle House restaurant chain to determine the effect of a storm and the likely scale of assistance required for disaster recovery. It was coined by former administrator Craig Fugate.
Wow.
Or Fugate or whatever of the Federal Emergency Management Agency.
I bet it's not. There's one other great way that you could pronounce that, and I hope it's that way.
No.
Blanket.
I got to say the only two that you could say on the
Yeah.
radio.
Yeah, you
but
did.
see, the Waffle House Index is real.
Fugate.
Fine. If that makes you happy.
Yeah.
But that's okay. I thought
Answer Man.
Fugate do what Fugate do.
because usually I think Amy says things because she knows that it's so obscure we won't go look it up to see if she's wrong.
Oh, Answer Man knows.
Then Answer Man shows
But them's the breaks.
up. All right.
One more time for the week. You guys have a great weekend.
Bye.
DGS
Bye.
next on KMOX.
Hey, KMOX listeners, Roger Wigginton here at Don Rogers Limited, 6727 West Main in Belleville. For 46 years, we've serviced